give a sign, say, this fellow's ready. You hardly had time to shake hands or get him up.
Well, they were down and up and throwing. And just like Billingham, he threw lightly before the game started and asked me, he said, am I in the bullpen today? And I said, well, no. I think he's starting you Sunday, but you might as well find out how your arm is. And he threw a little then, and just like all of them, they got up and threw, and we've still got 10 left, Joe.
It seems like just watching from the stands that there's about 10 holes in the dike and every pitcher's putting a finger in to keep that water from coming through.
That's about what it's amounted to. I know, I'm not making excuses. Baseball is baseball, and it's the way the ball bounces. But just like Clay Carroll, the ground ball that got us in trouble in the 8th inning, that Joe didn't think Hegan was that quick, and he took a little extra time, and Hegan beat it out, and we have to go into the bullpen right then again. But those things happen, like last night with Carroll. The ball hit. Anytime you get a reliever to come in, as you know, Joe, to throw a ground ball, that's all you can ask him to do. If it's in the hole, then that's up for grabs.
So then we should just look for Bobby Bullpen and friends.
Oh, I think so.
I'll be back with some more thoughts about today's game right after this from Skill. There are a lot of good ways to spend a weekend, and hours of back-breaking work to get your yard ready for winter isn't one of them. And that's probably why the people at Skill developed their new lightweight electric chainsaw, because most of them are guys just like you who have suffered through a weekend of tree pruning, firewood cutting, and hacking through heavy underbrush. The Skill lightweight electric chainsaw weighs less than 10 pounds and starts with one finger, and it's just about as powerful as Skill's gas-powered models. It can help you finish heavy yard work in a couple of hours instead of a couple of days. And nothing's quieter or more dependable than an electric motor. Your Skill Electric will never need a tune-up. It features a built-in oiler, double insulation, a reversible cutting bar, and usually retails for only $89.95. So if you'd rather spend your last good fall weekend relaxing under your favorite tree instead of pruning it, see your nearest Skill dealer about the new Model 1600 electric chainsaw. You'll never be sorry you bought the best there is, Skill. Earlier in this World Series, the Cincinnati players talked about the Oakland pitching and seemed to agree that the guy who impressed them the most was Vida Blue. Well, today for Oakland, it'll be Vida Blue. But there has been a change. Every day except yesterday, Blue has been in the bullpen, and now there's a question of whether he may be tired. Now, there's no way you can predict any part of a World Series, but there are some things we can look for. Cincinnati has been running and will keep running if they get the chance. And as Cincinnati pitching coach Larry Shepard said, nothing will be saved for tomorrow. You can't say that Oakland will do anything out of the ordinary because it's tough to define what ordinary is for Dick Williams. So there it is. And this is Joe Garagiola reminding you that if Cincinnati wins, we'll be back tomorrow with another edition of World Series Warm-Up, brought to you by Skill.
The Thoroughbreds, the Trotters, Aqueduct, Roosevelt. That's racing. And OTB's got it all. With 2 daily doubles, 7 exactas, and the Superfecta every day. And now that they've got more than 90 locations, their service is better than ever. New York City's off-track betting corporation. They've got it all. WNBC and WNBC FM, New York.
Baseball is brought to you on
from Cincinnati, Ohio, at Riverfront Stadium. The World Series moves to its 6th game, and overnight has moved from the West Coast back to Ohio. And today, Vida Blue goes against Gary Nolan in what again could be the deciding game of the World Series. This sixth game of series play is brought to you by Chrysler Corporation, Extra Care and Engineering. Your host today, your local Dodge dealer. Delta, the airline run by professionals. Delta flies to 99 great places in the Western Hemisphere, and Delta is ready when you are. By the Anderson Company, makers of Anco windshield wiper products, for your better driving visibility. And by new Right Guard Natural Scent Antiperspirant. Fights wetness, smells great. Hello from Riverfront Stadium. This is Jim Simpson along with Monte Moore. In the middle of this carpeted, lush Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio, the University of Cincinnati Marching Band under the direction of Harry McTerry is playing. The weather, it is cloudy, it is overcast. There is a chance of showers tonight. Showers could happen this afternoon, and they definitely expect them tomorrow. So weather-wise, it would be good if it wound up today, but that's not what the Cincinnati fans are saying. They figure that the Big Red Machine is back after that incredible ninth inning of play yesterday. Miscues in the top of the ninth by Oakland, and then when Blue Moon Odom tried to score from third base, the tying run on a little pop foul in back of first base and was nipped at the plate, that sent the game to number 6, the World Series to number 6 and back to Cincinnati, Ohio. It was a long trip for both Oakland and Cincinnati, and all of the news media not getting into 1, 2, and to their hotels sometime not till 3 o'clock this morning. And both ball clubs would be fortunate if they got as much as 4 to 5 hours of sleep. It'll be Gary Nolan, who started winding up unusually early. He is tossing the ball, or at least began to toss the ball, very softly, because Nolan has that history of shoulder problems. He was scheduled to start yesterday. They scratched him, but he did work out and warm up in the middle innings and decided that he was ready to go today. He is 0-2 in series play, and it means that the World Series rests squarely on his shoulders. The man who will try to put it away for the Oakland Athletics today, because if the A's win, they will have won this series 4-2, will be Vida Blue. Last year, the Cy Young Award winner, most valuable player, a holdout, and a losing record this year, but has been most effective in postseason play, with the exception of his last 2 outings, when he was not called on to pitch long, but he still was less than effective. This broadcast is authorized under broadcast rights granted by the Commissioner of Baseball solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. In any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of the game without the express consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. Well, we are back in Cincinnati, and we are back with the broadcaster, the voice of the Oakland Athletics, Monte Moore. And Monte, like the rest of us, short night, wasn't it?
The red-eye special from Oakland to Cincinnati, Jim. The A's got into their hotel here in Cincinnati at somewhere around 2 o'clock this morning, and really around 2:30. And by the time the luggage got to the room, it was 3:30, and I doubt very seriously if any of the players opened the luggage up. As a matter of fact, it's one of those situations whereby the A's had to get their luggage back down to the lobby of the hotel this morning when they came to the ballpark, because if the A's win here, they take right off for the West Coast after the ball game. There's a possibility that it could be as it was in Detroit on the 4th game of the playoffs there. The A's went to the park realizing if they won, they were going west. If they lost, they had to go back and check into the hotel again. So goes the trouble as far as the traveling Major League Baseball team in the World Series. This has been a great series, Jim, as everybody has talked about and written about. It's the first time in the history of the series where there have been 5 one-run games deciding the first 5. The A's won 3-2 and 2-1. Cincinnati won 1-0. The A's won 3-2, and then that great game yesterday, 5-4 with Cincinnati. If there's any surprise in the series, I would suppose that it would be the lack of scoring by these two clubs. The A's were the second top scoring team in the American League, averaging just under 4 runs a game for the year, and the Cincinnati Reds averaged right at 5 runs a year as the second best scoring team in the National League. So I think that would have to be the surprise. I know the Cincinnati players have indicated some surprise at the strength of the Oakland A's pitching staff. American League players have been figuring all year that the A's had probably the best pitching staff in the American League. And there have been 2 things, of course, that have been talked a lot about by the A's players and followers and writers, and that's the absence of Reggie Jackson, who, of course, is not in the World Series. He really hits right-handed pitchers, particularly right-handed breaking ball pitchers, and the Reds have thrown a couple of those. But yesterday, Darrell Knowles, the injured left-handed relief pitcher, was missed sorely for the first time because at a critical spot in a ball game with the A's leading by 1 run, Cincinnati got a fast runner on base with a left-handed batter at the plate. And that is the Darrell Knowles type situation. He has the best move to first base of any pitcher in the American League. He holds runners on very closely, and it would have made it much more difficult for Morgan to steal a big base as he did here yesterday. But the A's came into the series realizing the Reds were a great running team, and they certainly got a look at the great speed yesterday. You know, Jim, in 45 innings of this series, neither team has been more than 2 runs ahead of the other at any time. So it has been that close, the ball game, every day.
Vida Blue has just thrown his warm-up pitches, Monte, whereas Gary Nolan has been pitching now for about 10 minutes. But before you get away and prepare for the play-by-play of this ball game, one question. When John Blue Moon Odom, as a pinch runner, started from third base yesterday with 1 out in the 9th, and he represented the tying run, and was doubled up on Morgan Stroh after catching the soft foul of Campy Campaneris back at first base, was Odom going on his own, or was he sent?
Well, the A's have a play whereby that man tags up, and he takes an initial start down the baseline, but ordinarily he is on his own. He was on his own yesterday after the third base coach, Irv Norton, alerted him to be ready to go, but when he saw Morgan slip a little bit, then he took off.
Well, we'll be talking about that play. The Cincinnati fans here showing their appreciation of a fine ball player, Reggie Jackson of Oakland, who injured himself in the playoffs and has not been able to play, was introduced and got a fine hand. At the moment, the A's are being introduced, and I'll give you the starting lineups myself in a moment. But first, this announcement. If you've registered, then you're eligible to vote on November the 7th. That means you have a say in the choice of the next president of the United States. And that's a pretty big responsibility. It doesn't come around too often. It'd be a shame to miss out on this one. Take a few minutes on November the 7th and go to your local polling place. The lever you pull is the sound of your voice being heard. Vote. For additional information about registering and voting, contact your local League of Women Voters. Now, while the A's are being introduced, let's introduce them to you. Leading off and playing at shortstop is Campy Campaneris, a leadoff man who has scored no runs in this ball game for the A's. Matty Alou bats second out in right field, and again, the second man in the A's lineup has yet to score. Joe Rudy is in left field batting third. Mike Epstein, who hasn't had a hit, but has drawn 5 walks and scored 1 time, is batting fourth. And Sal Bando, who bats right behind him, hitting .222, like Epstein, no RBIs from your number 4 and 5 men. The reason being, of course, the top men aren't getting on base. Angel Manguel will be in the lineup today in center field since the right-hander is going for Cincinnati. He is 1 for 2 in the series. Gene Tennis, who has already put his name in the record books alongside of Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Duke Snider, and Hank Bauer by hitting 4 Major League home runs in 1 World Series. Tennis will bat 7th and catch. Dick Green is at second base, and Vida Blue, who was upset. The applause for the Cincinnati Reds being introduced. Vida Blue, who was upset because he did not start a playoff, and that consternation and conversation with the press continued during the early days of this World Series, and then he resigned himself to being in the bullpen. Vida Blue's going to get a chance to pitch today. He was 6 and 10 during the regular season. Now the Cincinnati Reds, to the cheers of their fans. Pete Rose, who was 3 for 5 yesterday. Campaneris made a fine play on shortstop. Rudy went to the wall to haul down another drive, or else Rose would have been 5 for 5. Had a home run and drove in the winning run in the 9th inning. Joe Morgan was yet to get a hit, nevertheless has walked 5 times and scored 3 runs. Morgan at second base batting second. Bobby Tolan, who has 4 RBIs in the last 2 games, he's been the big man, is in center field. Johnny Bench, the Major League's leading home run hitter and RBI man, has not had either in this World Series. He bats fourth and is behind the plate. Tony Perez, again with no RBIs, but a .444 average with 8 hits, the most in this World Series, bats fifth. As Epstein and Bando have not driven in runs for Oakland, for the Cincinnati Reds, the number 4 or 5 batters, Bench and Perez, also have driven in no runs. Hal McRae, because of the left-hander Vida Blue, will be out in right field today. Dennis Menke, who has had a superb series of field, is at third base. Dave Concepcion is the shortstop today, right-handed all the way, and he's in there, of course, because of Vida Blue. And Gary Nolan, who is making still another start in the World Series, his 4th. He is 0-2, and he lost the first game of this 1972 World Series. Is the pitcher. He was 15 and 5 on the year. The color guard of Marines is just behind home plate. The University of Cincinnati Band is ready to play as we rise here at Riverfront Stadium for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars to the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Cloudy, overcast, chance of rain this afternoon, temperature in the 50s. The University of Cincinnati Marching Band preparing to leave the field, and we'll continue with our pregame highlights right after this message.
You know that Gillette Track 2 razor with the 2 blades? No one-blade razor can match it. I'll tell you why. Your one-blade razor works like this. The blade bites into a whisker and lifts the whisker out of its socket a little bit. Now, when it cuts the whisker through, the little cut-off whisker goes snapping back into the socket, right? Okay, now with 2 blades, with the Track 2, the first blade comes down, does the same thing, bites into the whisker, lifts it out of its socket, but the second blade is waiting right behind, and when that little cut-off whisker tries to snap back into its socket, the second blade can catch it before it snaps all the way back and cut off more of it. Now, of course, no one-blade razor made by anybody can shave you like that. The Track 2 razor. Gillette made it 1 blade better.
We'll remind you again that here at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, the field is almost completely carpeted. There's dirt only around home plate and the pitcher's mound and first, second, and third. There is not what they call the skin of the infield, dirt running from first to third, just little patches of dirt. And the ball, well, it really carries in Riverfront Stadium, and you will find that the infielders, and Monte will be talking about that a lot in the early going, play very deep, almost short right field, almost short left field. It's a different ball game here at Riverfront Stadium. The umpires today, Bill Haller of the American League will be behind the plate. Chris Pellicudis, who called balls and strikes in the first game of the series, has worked his way back to first base. Jim Honachik is at second base, Mel Steiner at third. Down the left field line, American League umpire Frank Umon and Bob Engel in his first World Series, called balls and strikes yesterday, will be down the right field line. Again, Gary Nolan, the right-hander to start, with Sparky Anderson ready to go with nearly everybody necessary, as he proved yesterday by going with nearly everybody. Starting with McLaughlin, going to Bourbon, Tom Hall, Clay Carroll, Ross Grimsley, and finally Jack Billingham. And today he'll do anything. Turn it around to the other side of the field, and the other dugout, the Oakland A's. Dick Williams expected to have Ken Holtzman and Catfish Hunter down in the bullpen. He used Raleigh Fingers only if absolutely necessary. Fingers has been in the first 5 games, but Williams and the A's would like to wind it up today. Nolan, during the regular season, 15-5. Started the first game of this series, was the loser, giving up 3 runs, all of them scoring on the 2 home runs by Gene Tennis. In the playoffs, he started the 3rd game of the playoffs and gave up 1 run and 6 innings pitched against Pittsburgh and was not a pitcher of record there. Nolan opened the 1970 World Series, and home runs again were his problem. He surrendered them to Boog Powell, Ellie Hendricks, and Brooks Robinson of Baltimore and lost that one. So this is his 4th World Series start, and he is 0-2. And the Cincinnati Reds have not won a home game in the World Series in 32 years. They will try today. Perez at first, Morgan at second, Concepcion at short, Menke at third, Rose in left, Tolan in center, McRae at right, Bench the catcher. Nolan is warming up. Campaneris is preparing to step in, and we pause 10 seconds for station identification.
This is WNBC and WNBC FM, New York.
Along with Monte Moore, this is Jim Simpson back at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. This is Game 6 of the World Series. Oakland can close it out today. They lead 3-2. Campanera steps in, and here's the voice of the Oakland Athletics, Monte Moore.
Thank you very much, Jim Simpson, and hi once again, everybody. Campy Campaneris, who has not had a good series with a bat, steps in. Campy started off the series as if he were going to tear the Cincinnati pitching apart. He had 2 hits off Nolan in the first game here in Cincinnati. He has only had 1 hit since that time. 3 hits and 20 at-bats for the A's leadoff man. Now the Reds' defense tightens up on the corners at third and first, and here's the first pitch of the ball game. Campanella swings and doesn't get it. Strike 1. Gary Nolan, a 15-game winner. He lost only 5, and his earned run average a super 1.99, which means he has allowed less than 2 runs every 9 innings he's pitched this year. 1 strike pitch to Campanella at a curveball, bounced out to the third baseman. Menke backs up to take it, throws over to first for the out. Dennis Menke, to my way of thinking, has been one of the unsung heroes for Cincinnati in this series. He has not mishandled the ball. He has just been outstanding, playing shallow against a lot of the A's batters and having to spear some hard line drives. That time, Campanella bounced one down off that artificial turf, which usually bounces over a man's head. Menke's a big guy, 6'1", and just backed up, casually took it, and threw him out. Here now is Monte Alou. Foul away, strike 1. Monte has had only 1 hit in the World Series in 17 at-bats. Here's a fellow who hit .318 in the National League this year for the St. Louis Cardinals, traded over to the Oakland A's for the last month of the season, and he hit .281 for Oakland. Nolan's pitch on the way. Pop foul back here. It's strike 2. Monte Alou, a little guy, a left-handed batter. He became an outstanding percentage hitter when he quit trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He hits it to all fields now. Cincinnati plays him shaded over towards left. Gary Nolan, a strike thrower, is ahead of Alou at 0-2. Joe Rudy will bat third for Oakland here in the first inning. Nolan shakes off bench. Now comes to the plate with a fastball, and it's bounced to the second baseman. Morgan backs up to take it. Throws to first. He got him by a stride, and there are 2 down. And the Reds pitching staff continues to baffle Monte Alou. Here's Joe Rudy, who was quite a hero in game number 2 last Sunday here in this ballpark. He planted a home run into the mezzanine section of the left field area, and he took a ball off the wall in left field that probably saved the game. Joe Rudy, over 300 average for the A's through the season. He hit 19 home runs for Oakland and had 70 runs batted in. A right-handed batter, very strong hitter. Nolan's pitch to him, a swung on and hit up into the air into deep right field. Hal McRae is under the ball. He's got it, and that's 3 down. After the first half inning, it's Oakland 0, Cincinnati coming to bat.
Hi, this is Joe Garagio. Well, it's World Series time, and even people who aren't real fans start taking an interest in baseball. And that's because you're seeing the best. And when you see the best of anything, you've got to admire it. Like the new Dodge Charger. For the last few years, people have looked to Charger for the newest, the latest in automobile styling. And once again, in 1973, Charger hasn't disappointed them. Charger has the clean, smooth lines that you've come to expect. But this year, Charger has more. Charger has an electronic ignition system for sure starts. Charger has torsion quiet ride to help keep out those annoying road noises. And Charger tops it all off by giving you a choice of 3 vinyl roof styles. That's right. There's a canopy vinyl roof, a halo vinyl roof, and a distinctive Charger SE vinyl roof. So if you want to see one of the best cars with plenty of family-sized room, see Dodge Charger at your nearby Dodge dealer.
Vida Blue completing his warm-ups on the mound, and he'll face Rose, Morgan, and Tolan, and Rose will lead it off. He led off yesterday hitting the first pitch for a home run and wound up on the day 3 for 5, hit the ball hard all 5 times and drove in what proved to be the winning run in the ninth. Here again is Monte.
Rose had been kept off the bases very well by the A's pitching staff until yesterday, and as Jim said, he changed that in a hurry on the very first pitch thrown by Catfish Hunter. He was batting left-handed that time. He has now turned around to bat right against Vida Blue, who won only 6 games for Oakland this year. He was invaluable in the playoffs out of the bullpen. Here's his first pitch, and Rose looks at a curve that is missing for ball 1. The home plate umpire is American leaguer Bill Haller, working his first World Series game. Blues 1-0 pitch. Fast strike. It's called 1-1. Pete Rose followed by Morgan and Tolan. Rose bats out of a deep crouch either side of the plate. There's a high bouncing ball to short. Campaneris is going to have to hurry to get him. The throw to first. In time, he got him with a great throw from deep shortstop. Anytime that ball bounces twice on this turf, you think Rose has a chance to beat it. But Campaneris has a gun for an arm and shot him down. There's one away. Here's little Joe Morgan, who, though has not had a hit in the series, certainly was a big factor yesterday in Cincinnati's victory because he walked twice and scored 2 runs. Morgan for the year led the majors in walks, getting 115. Blues pitched to him at high for ball 1. Morgan was a busy little second baseman this year. At the plate, he was up 552 times officially. There's a drive deep right center field. He really put a charge in that one. Matty Allou's on the run. It's going to be off the fence. Fielding the ball is Angel Manuel. Morgan is going to stop at second with a double. Now he's on his way to third, and he's going to make it, I believe. He slides by the blue covers, takes the toss too late. The relay throw from Angel Manuel in right center field, back to the infield. Got away from both Dick Green and Campy Campaneris. Sal Bando, the third baseman, had to go recover the rolling ball, and Joe Morgan sped his way into third with a double, and what will be an error on somebody. So the Reds have a man at third base with only one away, and the batter is Bobby Tolan. Vida Blue ended up covering third, taking an underhanded toss from Sal Bando as Morgan, who had gone back to second base, saw the ball roll away from Green and Campaneris. The error is on the center fielder Angel Manuel for the throw, who was just put into the game today, replacing George Hendrick. Here's Bobby Tolan. He has had some big base hits. The A's infield playing back. Here's Vida Blue's windup, the pitch, swing and a miss, strike one, and Blue threw that ball perfectly that time. A blazing fastball on the knees to the inside part of the plate. Tolan has had 5 hits in the World Series, but he's knocked in 4 runs. All he has to do to knock in a run here is hit the ball on the ground to either short or second. They're both playing very deep. Vida Blue needs a strikeout. Morgan down off third. Here's the wind and the pitch. Curveball bounced to the right side of the infield, but it goes foul. No balls and 2 strikes. Joe Morgan's first World Series base hit was a blast off the right center field wall. Certainly one of the Major League's most exciting players. Now with 2 strikes on the batter, Campy Campaneris, the A's shortstop, comes in to talk with Vida Blue. Off the windup, here's the pitch. Little blooper out over third, backhanded by a charging Campy Campaneris, the shortstop of the Oakland A's. Very, very fine play by Campaneris, as Tolan was hit right on the fist by a Vida Blue fastball. He hit it in the air over Sal Bando, who was playing shallow, and Campaneris, even with a left-handed batter up and playing deep, managed to get over there with a great burst of speed and backhand the ball right behind third. Now here's Johnny Bench. Bench in the series has 5 hits. Blue winds, here's his pitch. Curved him and missed inside, ball 1. Bert Campaneris, the Oakland shortstop, is playing a good 40 feet behind the baseline between second and third. Bando very deep at third. The pitch to Bench. There to drive deep left field. That ball is really hit. Rudy on the run, going for it. Backhands it on the drive. Right at the wall in foul territory. Joe Rudy caught that ball. I believe he caught it in fair ground, but he went into the wall. That is in foul territory down the left field line, and the Reds do not score. 1 hit and 1 error and a man left after an inning of play. It is 0-0.
This is Milo Hamilton. I call the play-by-play for the Atlanta Braves, and I do the radio commercials for Delta, the official airline of the Braves. When I talk about Delta, well, I speak from experience. Last month, I flew more than 16,000 miles on Delta. It was a rugged schedule, but the Delta people made it as smooth as anyone could ask for. Delta is an airline run by professionals, 24,000 professionals. Each highly skilled individual knows his job and gives it his best. That goes for the reservationist who confirms your space by Deltamatic computer in 3 seconds, right onto the baggage handler who delivers your bags in an average time of 7 minutes after you land. It's what Delta calls total service. I'd like to recommend Delta Airlines to you. And I have one other suggestion for people who travel, the American Express Money Card. You can even extend payment for your Delta tickets on the Sign and Fly plan. You're always ready to go with an American Express Money Card. And Delta is ready when you are.
Jim Simpson with Monte Moore. We go to the second. In the first, Nolan got him 1, 2, 3. In the Cincinnati first, thanks to fine fielding plays by Campaneris, 2 of them, and the running catch of the line drive off the bat of Johnny Bench, who pulled a Vita Blue pitch down the left field line. Blue and the A's got out of trouble. In trouble because Morgan lashed a double off the wall and right and went to third on Manuel's throwing error. So it's a 0-0 ball game. We go to the second. Here again is Monte.
Mike Epstein, the A's cleanup hitting first baseman. Been at the plate 12 times in the World Series without a base hit. He was Oakland's leading home run hitter for the year with 26. The pitch from Nolan is low, ball 1. Epstein had 26 homers, 70 runs batted in, and a very good average for him, 270. Nolan's pitch on the way. Epstein looks at a fastball right down the middle. Nolan doesn't throw all that many home runs, but the A's tagged him for 2 in the first game he pitched. Outstanding changeup Nolan has. Here's the pitch. Curve, and it's a beauty. Called strike 2 to Epstein. Nolan spun that ball right over the top, and it was diving down through that strike zone. So Epstein finds himself behind now at a ball and 2 strikes. Reds defense deep and around to the right. Here's the pitch. It's low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boy, the Reds have been generating excitement in the early innings in the last couple of 3 games. Though they haven't scored that much early, they have definitely had the chances. 2-2 pitch to Epstein, and he swings and misses, strike 3. Gary Nolan strikes out Epstein, 1 out in the second, and here is Sal Bando. Bando, the A's team captain, hit 15 home runs for the season, knocked in 77 runs to lead the A's in that department, but his batting average fell off to a major league low for him of 236. Fastball strike call. Bando in the World Series has had 4 hits. He's been up 18 times. Nolan, that short windup throws and misses low and away. It's a ball 1-1. And Gary turned and looked back at the mound that time as if he were unhappy with his footing on that pitch. We are 0-0. Top half of the second inning. Game number 6 of a great 1972 World Series. Curveball to Bando just misses, and Nolan is begging the plate umpire for that one. 2 balls, 1 strike. Bando takes low, ball 3. Angel Manuel is on deck. Then Gene Tennis behind him. A's coaches Irv Noren at third base. Jerry Adair at first for Oakland. Bando hits a line drive towards center field. He has a base hit. Tolan fields it on the first hop. And with 1 on, the A's have their first base runner of the game. It comes here in the second with 1 out, and here's Angel Manuel, who stroked the game-winning hit night before last, and that come from behind win for Oakland in Oakland. Manuel came up yesterday as a pinch hitter with the chance to do the same kind of thing. Hit the ball very sharply to the right side. It was fielded by Morgan, and they threw him out. For the regular season, Angel played in only 91 games. Hit .246. He did have 5 home runs. Nolan's pitch. Strike call. He's around the plate all the time. See some clear blue skies ahead. Here today, it's been kind of overcast and rainy. Curveball hanging high and inside to Manuel. It's 1-1. Certainly a pitchers and defenders World Series so far. 1-1 pitch. Curve as a beauty. Strike 2 call. Jim, Nolan's overhanded curveball looks a lot sharper early in the game than it did here on Saturday.
That's right, Monte, and we'll point out again that he did have that shoulder problem. Worked out a little bit yesterday in the mid-innings, and today he started his windup fully 10 minutes before Vita Blue. But apparently he's all right.
They had to find out if he could go today. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Mangual. A curveball hit on the ground to the third baseman. Minke takes it. He's going to have only one play, and that's to first, and he doesn't get him. Now he called him out. Chris Pellicutis called him safe at first. It looked like, and then he called him out.
Not only did it look like it, Monte, that's exactly what he did do. He called him safe and then called him out. Apparently pointing at the bag, saying that Mangual failed to touch the bag.
Wow, that could be the only thing, and it might turn out to be a huge play. Now, runner at second base, Bando, and here's Gene Tennis. He's had 4 home runs in the series. Curve to him is high for ball 1. Mangual was put in the A's lineup today to try to get a little more batting punch. George Hendrick, the rookie who had been starting, had not hit the ball at all. Here's the 1-0 pitch. High fly ball. Tennis got under that one, and it's a mile high out into left field. On comes Pete Rose. He's got it. And the A's are retired here in the second inning. After an inning and a half to score, Oakland nothing, Cincinnati nothing.
Hi, Johnny Bench for Anco windshield wipers. Can you imagine the reaction if a manager told his team that he was supplying them with baseball bats that weren't absolutely the best? Well, your team, that is your family, deserves the best too. Anco windshield wiper blades. If your present wipers are streaking, replace them with Anco wipers. Look for the service station with the bright yellow Anco cabinet. They can snap on new blades while you're gassing up. Tell them you heard about Anco from Johnny Bench.
This year, almost all the new cars are the same. Most of the 1973 models are designed to run on low-octane gasoline, like Gulftane. The owner's manuals say so. Check the recommendation in your owner's manual and try a tank full of Gulftane. It has the performance additive package you'd expect from Gulf, and it costs even less than Gulf Regular. So why pay more than you have to? Try Gulftane, the low-cost gasoline for new cars.
Have been on here at Riverfront Stadium since an hour before the game, but even though showers are forecast, and we had some this morning, the sun has come out as we begin the Cincinnati second. Monte?
Tony Perez, who's had a hot bat in the World Series with 8 base hits. He leads all hitters in number of hits. Facing Vita Blue in the first pitch of the curve high, ball 1. Very unusual happening. A runner missing first base. Reminds you of a broad jumper missing the takeoff board. He just didn't have it timed. Here's the 1-0 to Perez, and a fastball misses. It's 2-0. Perez, one of the real good RBI men in the National League. 6 years in a row, 90 RBIs or better for Cincinnati. There's a high foul pop out of play. Vita Blue has not overpowered any of these Cincinnati batters as yet. Second time around in a World Series for players to see the opposing pitchers. You ordinarily see more offense. They know a little bit more about how the pitcher's going to throw to them, how the breaking ball breaks, where the fastball takes off. Here's a 2-1 pitch, a slow curve hit up into the air into right field, not deep. On comes Matty Alou of the A's, and he's got it. And Perez is retired for the first out in the second inning. Here's Hal McRae. McRae has been up 6 times in the series. He's had 3 hits, 2 of them pinch hits. McRae openly admits that he is a slasher at the plate. He said, I come out swinging. I may fall flat on my face, but I'm going to go down swinging if I go down. Hit 278 this year in spot rolls for the Reds. Pitch to him is high and inside, ball 1. And Vita's not getting that real good fastball over the inside part of the plate. Usually an out pitch for him against right-handed batters. Fast one swung on and missed. Strike. It's 1-1. Vita comes to the plate with an off-speed pitch that misses outside, 2-1. Each club has one base hit. Morgan, a one-out double. He went over to third on the play on a throwing error by Manguel. But Blue got Tolan and bench. 2-1 pitch to McRae, and he's right down on his knees swinging at that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He does get his cuts, doesn't he? Blue kicks that white shoe in the air and throws. McRae hits it in the air to center field. Angel Manguel is back just in front of the warning track. Lots of room, and he makes the catch. 2 out. And here's Dennis Menke. Menke hit a homer yesterday. The Reds were behind 3-1. He made it 3-2. He has had 2 hits in the World Series. This year he has been up 16 times. Right-handed batter, here's the pitch. High foul ball off first, near the stands, and here in Cincinnati, the stands are much closer to the field than in Oakland, and that one goes over into the seats. With 2 down in the second inning, Oakland and Cincinnati, 0-0. If the A's win it, it's all over for 1972, and they'll carry a World Championship trophy back to the Bay Area. If the Reds win it, we'll go to Game 7 tomorrow, right here in Cincinnati. The pitch to Menke, high, a ball, 1-1. The Reds entered this World Series highly favored to win it all. Here's a drive towards left center field. Manguel on his bicycle going to his right. He reaches up and picks it off, and it's 3 up, 3 down here in the second. And the score after 2 innings of play at Riverfront Stadium is Cincinnati and Oakland, 0-0.
For quite a while now, these World Series broadcasts have been brought to you in part by Right Guard Antiperspirant, the one that really helps keep you dry when the action's hot. Well, this year, Right Guard is pleased to introduce a brand new antiperspirant, Right Guard Natural Scent. It's got the same great wetness fighter as regular Right Guard, and it's got a great new scent made from natural ingredients so it smells light and clean, not heavy or artificial like a lot of other antiperspirants. New Right Guard Natural Scent Antiperspirant. You'll like the way it works and the new natural way it smells.
Gillette makes a better double edge now than the one your father used. The smoothest edge we can put on a blade, for the smoothest shave we can put on your face. The Platinum Plus blade. And someday, Gillette will make even a better blade for your son. The more things change, the more they stay the same. We made the first blade, and we're still the first blade. Gillette. Platinum Plus.
Jim Simpson along with Monte Moore. We're watching Dick Williams, the manager, who has come out to talk to Bill Haller, the home plate umpire, and the third base umpire, Mel Steiner. One from the American League, the other from the National, and I have no idea what it is that Williams is talking about. But to get back to the subject of Vita Blue in this 0-0 ball game, despite the fact it is 0-0, they've been hitting Blue pretty hard. Campaneris made a great play on Rose's high chopper. Bench made a line drive to left that Rudy had to haul it in, and then last inning in the second, Perez, McRae, and Menke all had good cuts. But it's still a scoreless game. Top of the third, Dick Green the batter, and Monte Moore the announcer.
Greeny's had 4 base hits in this series. He's been up 12 times. The pitch swung on, hit deep short. Over for the ball, Concepcion. He throws to first, and Green is an easy out. 1 out in the third inning. It looked as if that conversation between Dick Williams and the third base umpire with the home plate umpire had something to do about the pitcher blowing on his hand. As you know, during the regular season, in order for them to put their hand up to their mouth to blow on it or touch the fingers with the tongue, they have to step off the dirt part of the pitching mound. But during this cooler weather out in Oakland and here again today, apparently they've given permission for a pitcher to do that while on the mound. Here's Vita Blue. Takes a called strike. Gary Nolan throws a curve and hits the inside corner. Strike 2 to Blue. Nolan, a native Californian, now makes his home here in Cincinnati. Vita takes curve, calls strike 3. So they're 2 down in the third inning. And Nolan has gone through the A's batting order the first time around without being scored on this time. He starts all over with Bert Campaneris. The A's had only one base hit. They really had two if Manuel would have stepped on the bag at first as he was running. He had beaten out a deep grounder to the left side of the infield. Chris Pellicuz had called him safe until he saw he missed the bag. Campaneris hits one off the leg of the pitcher. Nolan knocks it down, underhands the ball to first for the out. Good break for Gary Nolan there. That ball did hit him. So the A's go 1-2-3 in the third, and it is still Cincinnati and Oakland, 0-0.
Hi, this is Joe Garagiola. With World Series time here, managers depend on players to deliver dependable performances. And like a manager, you want dependable performance from your car. So look to the big Dodge. It's got dependable features such as electronic ignition for more starting voltage. And there's an electronic voltage regulator for longer battery life. Plus torsion quiet ride for smoothness and quiet. But these features won't cost you. They're standard on all big Dodge models this year. See the big Dodge soon at your Dodge dealers.
Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference in Chrysler Corporation cars. The automotive company that helped put the first American in space now introduces the new age of automotive electronics. Electronic ignition to help you start in any weather. Electronic voltage regulator to help increase battery life. Electronics.
Extra care in engineering.
It makes a difference in Dodge, Chrysler, and Plymouth. Discover the difference. Drive one.
We pause 30 seconds for station identification.
The thoroughbreds, the trotters, Aqueduct, Roosevelt. That's racing. And OTB's got it all. With 2 daily doubles, 7 exactas, and a superfecta every day. New York City's Off-Track Betting Corporation. We've got it all.
WNBC, AM and FM, New York.
At play now, the last half of the third inning, Dave Concepcion, the red shortstop at the plate, and he has a count of 1 strike as Vida Blue throws the curve for strike 2. Concepcion asked the plate umpire to look at the baseball. He thinks it might be a little too discolored to use. Sunshine has broken through in Cincinnati. 0-0. Concepcion will be followed by Nolan and Rose here in the last half of the third inning. Vida Blue for the Oakland A's. Takes the windup. Here's his 0-2 pitch, and he left him standing with a blue blazer. A fastball. Concepcion stands at the plate to question the call, but that ball is long gone. Over to third, and around the horn it goes. Blue gets his first strikeout of the day, and that's the first ball, Jim, that looks like he's really put some mustard on. Here's Gary Nolan, the pitcher. Right-handed thrower, a right-handed batter. Vida's first pitch to him is low for ball 1. Nolan batted twice the first game without a hit. Blue now misses. It is 2-0. 1 out, third inning, no score. Two 2-0 pitch to Nolan. He'll be taking. He is, and it cost him. It's a strike. 2-1. Third base coach Alex Grammas for Cincinnati. George Sugar at first. 2-1 pitch. There's a drive foul. Nolan hitting a little late at a blue fastball. Nolan was scheduled to start yesterday's game had he have been able to throw well the night before in his warm-up, but he did not. Blues 2-2 pitch. Just misses. Tennis started to throw that ball to third. He thought they had him, and now Blue comes up with a big pitch. He needs a strike here to Gary Nolan. Around comes the arm, and the pitch on the way. Swinging strike 3, and he really hummed that one. Vida Blue looking now as if he's getting a little loose. But he's throwing that ball by the 8th and 9th hitters in the lineup. Now he has to go to work against the top. Here's Pete Rose, the left fielder. Reds have one hit. A double off the wall in right center by Joe Morgan. The A's have one hit, a single by Sal Bando. Here's Blue's pitch to Pete Rose. And he's almost hit with a breaking ball. Had to jump out of the way. Fans yelling a little bit. They realize there is some bad blood between Rose and some of the A's players. Blue misses low with a curve. It's 2-0. When a pitcher throws at a batter, he doesn't do it with a breaking ball. Rose, looking him over, has found himself out in front of Blue now at 2-0. Ball 3. Blue, ordinarily a pretty good control pitcher. For the season, he walked only 48 while striking out 111. He's got to throw some strikes in a row to Rose. Ball 4, he lost him. Now let's see if the Reds' running game turns on here. The pressure gets on Gene Tennis, the A's catcher who's taken a lot of abuse from the Red Runners in this series. It has not all been Gene Tennis, however. The A's pitchers have not done a very good job of holding the runners on at first base. So with 2 down, a walk to Pete Rose, and with 2 out, a walk yesterday to Joe Morgan. Started the Cincinnati rally. Rose jumps off first. Blue looks at him. Here's the pitch to the plate. Taking a called strike. Morgan was trying to help Rose out if he wanted to go. Vida had a very quick release that time after he dropped down to the set position. Rose stole 10 bases for the season. He has stolen 1 in the series. Here he goes, a pitch of the pitch out. Tennis throws to second, right on target, and Rose is out a mile. Gene Tennis called a pitch out, and they got Pete Rose down at second. It really wasn't very close. So after 3 innings of play, the score, Cincinnati and Oakland, 0-0.
Should a gentleman offer more than an evening to a lady, more than candlelight and small talk, more than just an eye? Should a gentleman offer a Tipperella to a lady? And what if he does? Well, baby, it's all right.
Tipperillo. Regular, menthol, and aromatic.
If you like fantastic savings, go to W&J Sloan's 14 furniture clearance centers, your immediate delivery shop Saturday and Monday for the sensational Veterans Day sale. Millions of dollars worth of furniture by Baker, Henderson, Heritage, Drexel, and other greats, plus bedding, rugs, all 20 to 60% off the original prices. See the ad in Sunday's New York Times for the furniture clearance center nearest you. Come save. There's no waiting. Everything is for immediate delivery at the Sloan Furniture Clearance Centers.
Well, several things happened in that last inning, Monty, in that Blue did look looser, striking out Concepcion and Nolan, as you pointed out, the 8-9 batters. But when he lost Pete Rose, he lost them on 4 pitches that were all low in the strike zone, as opposed to high, where he had been when Perez, McRae, Bench, and Menke were all getting the good shots at him. And then again, Gene Tennis, who has not been the defensive catcher in this series that Johnny Bench is all year long, finally had a chance to throw out the running Pete Rose and did so. Now we go to the 4th. It'll be Alou, Rudy, and Epstein. And here is Monty Moore.
One of the secrets of throwing a man out with a pitch out is to take your time, and Tennis definitely did that. He missed throwing Rose out one time earlier in this series. Rose was going just because he hurried his throw and threw it high and out into center field. He had that one right on the button. Here's Matty Alou to lead off. Gary Nolan's pitch to Matty is inside for a ball, 1-0. These men are playing for a lot of money. Some of the players have figured it out on the basis of the money taken in on 4 straight sellouts, the 4 games the players share in. The winners may get over $20,000. Foul ball, back to the screen, 1-1. The last 3 years, the winners of the World Series have gotten over $18,000 a man. A dramatic jump after 1969 when the winners got $13,000, but it went up very high after that. First World Series ever, the winners got $1,100 a man. And during the war years, they sometimes got as low as $400 a man for losing in a World Series. Alou pops one up right out into very short right field. On comes McRae. He has it. 1 out in the 4th inning. Gary Nolan pitching a strong game here this afternoon. Not overpowering, but he's getting his curveball over. Here's Joe Rudy. Joe hit a fly ball to fairly deep right field for an out in the first inning. Rudy takes his time more than any other player in the series in getting into the batter's box. He's set now, and the pitch to him is a curve a little high. The Reds give Rudy about 90 feet of the left field foul line. Their left fielder, Rose, plays on a line from first through second right on out into the outfield. They definitely don't expect him to pull the ball. Here's a high fly ball into left field. Rose has to go over to his right. He has plenty of time to get under that one. He's got it. When you see a man like Rudy hit one that high, he has just missed hitting a home run by a fraction of an inch on the baseball. He just got under that one a little bit. So there are two down, and here is Mike Epstein. Cincinnati and Oakland, 0-0. The 1972 World Series from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. We're happy you're with us here on NBC and around the world, wherever you might be following America's national pastime. Epstein goes for a high breaking ball and fouls it off. Strike one. Oakland has had only one base runner. Cincinnati has had only two. One strike count. Nolan's pitch. Swinging strike two, and Epstein looks at that plate as if he is really off balance against this right-hander. Swung late on a Nolan fastball. But now Gary's well ahead of him at 0-2. See if he wastes one here. Just outside of ball, 1-2. A gigantic crowd to welcome the Reds home last night at the airport. Epstein goes down swinging, strike three. Looks like a changeup. He took something off of it, and he has struck out the A's cleanup hitter twice in a row. In the middle of the fourth inning, the score is Oakland 0, Cincinnati 0.
Hello, this is Johnny Bench speaking for Anco Windshield Wipers. Back before I was playing for the Reds, I always thought the right fielder had the best position on the team. All he does is stand there waiting for an occasional high fly. But you know, right field can be like the windshield wipers on your car. They don't do anything either until some rain comes their way. But boy, do they have to hustle then. In a rainstorm or a snowstorm, clean wiping Anco windshield wipers or snow blades can save your life. But wipers, like ball players, eventually get old. Over a period of time, the sun, wind, and air pollution gets to them, and the rubber gradually deteriorates, and they really get aches and pains. If your wipers are over 6 months old, man, they could be over the hill and going into a permanent slump. So the thing to do is bench them. Drive into any service station where you see the bright yellow Anco service cabinet and tell the man you want a fresh new pair of Anco windshield wipers. That's Anco by Anderson. Definitely Major League.
It's no secret, if you're going to beat the Cincinnati Reds, you've got to handle Rose, Morgan, and Tolan, something that the A's did so effectively in the early going. Last couple of games, that has not happened. Morgan will lead it off. He has already doubled off the wall and gotten as far as third base, and that's been the only threat. Followed by Tolan and, of course, Johnny Bench. Cincinnati fourth, and here's Monte.
Right of blue. The little Joe Morgan, who makes his home in Oakland, the home of the A's during the winter, tries to bunt, and he missed it. Strike one. That was a breaking ball, and up high, Morgan ran up on the ball as if he wanted to bunt it. I think he saw that it was going to be too high to get down. He tried to draw the bat back, but he'd gone too far. Scoreboard urging the Cincinnati fans on here. Curveball to Morgan, misses inside. It's 1-1. Lou has struck out two and walked one. The Reds send Pedro Bourbon to work out in their bullpen. Lou's pitch. Breaking ball again. It is now 2-1 to Morgan, who really looks him over. He worked Raleigh Fingers for a big walk in the game yesterday, late. Turned it into a big run. 2-1 pitch. Fouled off. Strike two. To walk him, it's almost like having him hit a double. Psychologically, it's probably worse on a team to walk him and see him steal second than to see him hit a double. Thing about him, I would imagine one reason he gets so many walks is not because he's so small and looks them over, but pitchers have to work carefully to him. He can also hit the long ball. He had 16 home runs for Cincinnati this year. Vida winds, kicks, and throws. High fly ball behind the plate. Gene Tennis throws the mask away right out in front of the Oakland dugout. He puts it away, and Morgan is the first out of the fourth inning. You know, Jim, it's really great to see what a World Series does to a city. Here in Cincinnati, almost 15,000 fans at the airport last night. When the A's returned home from their first two games of the series, they had a crowd about that same size at the Oakland airport.
And, Monte, really, I can't remember, and I talked to folks older than I, a greater 2 weeks of baseball than the American League East finish, the playoffs in both leagues, and now this World Series.
Just been baseball's finest year. Here is Tolan taking a breaking ball strike at the knees. Both the Reds and the A's had to go 5 hectic games to win their division playoffs in baseball's first ever 5-game playoff series. Tolan ran up on a fastball and left it in the catcher's mitt for a strike. It's 0-2. Vida Blue and Gary Nolan with the same results, pitching different kinds of ball games here today. Vida an overpowering pitcher, Nolan an off-speed specialist. 0-2 to Tolan. He struck him out. Tolan had about a half cut at that pitch, and now he's asking the plate umpire where it was. So Vida Blue now has struck out 3 in the game. Here's Johnny Bench, who ripped one towards the foul line and left in the first inning with Morgan at third and 2 down. And Joe Rudy, who's been an outstanding outfielder all year for Oakland, ran it down, backhanded the ball just as he crossed the foul line and banged into the fence. Here's the pitch. Bench swings and misses. What a cut he had. Johnny hit a home run off Vida Blue in the All-Star game in Detroit 2 summers ago. He hit a lot of them this year, 40 against National League pitchers. Knocked in 125 runs. Changeup, misses low, a ball 1-1. Bench in this series had 5 base hits, only one of them an extra base job, a double off the right field wall here in Cincinnati. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball low and inside, 2-1. That's the pitch that Vida's not really getting over effectively here today. The way Bourbon is throwing, Gary Nolan may have told him his arm is tightened up. He's working hard in the bullpen. 2-1 to Bench. Ball 3 it is now. Vida's shooting at one spot. Looks like low inside about knee high, and he's missing it. Now he has a big pitch to make to Bench. He'll be looking for one he can send for a ride. Here it comes. High drive, deep left field. He just hit it out of here. It is one gone, a home run. Sends 50,000-plus fans into ecstasy here in Cincinnati. The pitch to Perez, a bouncing ball towards third. Bando charges it. There's a throw to first. He got him, and the Reds are out here in the fourth, but not before Johnny Bench put him on top with a line drive homer into the left field stand. The score after 4, 1-0 Cincinnati.
Mike Moyer, Wethead. Mike Moyer, the dry look. Roy Zuka, Wethead. Roy Zuka, the dry look.
With the dry look aerosol hair control, you look so much better you won't believe your ears. The Wethead is dead, and the dry look from Gillette did it. More men use it than any other aerosol.
Charlie Meismer, the dry look.
The dry look from Gillette.
Well, you heard about that Gillette Track 2, the 2-bladed razor, and you probably said, why should I shell out money for another razor? That's a good question. Here's a good reason. Because that Track 2 will give you a combination of closeness and safety that you just cannot get with a 1-blade razor, no matter how many you have in your medicine chest. That's why. The Track 2 razor, Gillette made it 1 blade better.
With Monte Moore, Jim Simpson back in an excited Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, where Johnny Bench's 2-out, 3-1 pitch home run, his first home run and RBI of the series, has put the Reds out in front by the score of 1-0. Nolan has taken the mound, but remember, as Nolan went back into the dugout after pitching the 4th inning to the A's, immediately Pedro Bourbon began to warm up in the bullpen. It'll be Bando, Manguel, and Tennis in this 1-0 ball game, and that should be no surprise, Monty. As you pointed out, all 5 of these World Series games, for the first time in history, all of the first 5 have been decided by 1 run, and that's the score now. Cincinnati 1, Oakland 0. As Bill Haller dusts off the plate, Bando's in and waiting, and Bench is ready to give the signal. Monty?
Bando has the A's only base hit of the game, a single in the 2nd inning. Nolan winds, and here's his pitch. Bando hits a liner out over short. He has his 2nd base hit of the game. Sal Bando is on to start the 5th inning for the Oakland A's. Jim Simpson, if Bourbon does not set a World Series record for appearances, he's definitely going to set a World Series record for warm-ups. He's been up in every game out there.
And several times in every game.
Absolutely. Well, they say he has a rubber arm and likes to pitch all the time. He just continues to throw out there whether a pitcher's in trouble or not. Here's Angel Manguel, who had a very unusual thing happen to him. He had a base hit on a grounder his last time up, but he missed first base and was called out. 1-0 Cincinnati. Here's the pitch. Curveball. Manguel bangs it by third on the wrong side. It's a foul, strike 1. Menke, not guarding the line on Manguel, looks over to the shortstop, Concepcion. He just raises his hand as if to say, should I or should I not be over there? The outfield plays Manguel to hit the ball to right center field. Now left-hander Grimsley is up throwing for Cincinnati. Well, as it was yesterday, they'll have everybody in their bullpen up. This is shoot the works day. The least sign of trouble by Nolan, and he'll be out of there. 1-strike pitch. Manguel fouls it off at strike 2. I don't know exactly where the pitch was. Bench hit. 3-1 count. But I'll tell you this, he definitely put it in the left field stands in a hurry. A line drive went out of here as if it were shot by a bazooka. From here, it looked as if it might have been low and away, but not low enough, apparently, before it went away. 0-2 count to Manguel. Curveball hit high in the air to deep left field. Back goes Pete Rose. He's on the warning track, turning around. He's got it! Manguel of the A's just missed hitting one out of here. And Sparky Anderson is on his way to the mound before that ball was caught. Gary Nolan hung a curveball on a 2-strike count to Manguel, and he sent Pete Rose to the wall. Pete leaped in the air. Though he caught the ball before he hit the fence, he held on to it, and Bando, who was all the way to second, goes back to first. Really wasn't that tough a catch for Rose. He didn't have to jump at all, but he did, and he held on to the ball. Had to look good on the television screen anyway. Manguel just missed it. Now here's Gene Tennis. Nolan pitches. Tennis rams one foul by third, and the A's are starting to get some cuts at Nolan now. It's 1-0 Cincinnati. Bob Locker is up in the Oakland bullpen. They might pinch hit for Vida Blue if the A's get anything going here. Dick Green is on deck, and it's a possibility they could pinch hit for him. Gonzalo Marquez is already selecting a bat. The pitch to Tennis, low and away, a ball 1-1. And you know the Nolan book now is a little different on Gene Tennis than it was on the first day of the season, of the World Series season, that is, because Tennis, relatively unknown to the Reds, hit 2 home runs. Here's a foul ball back this way. Hey, we got a World Series souvenir right here in the booth. A National League ball here in Cincinnati. You go a whole season out in Oakland without getting a foul ball in the booth. It's so high, and it takes a Major League pop-up to get up here. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Gene Tennis. Bando off first base, the pitch. In the dirt, a great block by Johnny Bench. Oh, what a catcher he is to watch. That was a curve in the dirt with top spin on it, and out in front of the plate about 4 or 5 feet, which is the toughest kind a catcher has to handle. You don't catch those by putting your hand across your body and backhanding it. You move over to the right and block it, and Bench did just that. Now the count strings out to 2-2 on Gino. Nolan sets. Here's the pitch. Fastball hit up in the air, deep center field. Way back goes Tolan. He may have room. He's on the warning track. He picks it up. Bando goes back to first. I don't mind telling you, the A's have hit a couple of ropes here in this inning. And now here's Dick Green coming to bat. A 1-0 game, Cincinnati, and Nolan has got to thank his lucky stars that those two balls were at somebody. It's 404 feet to the center field wall here in Riverfront Stadium, and Gene Tennis made Tolan use up most of that. Pitch to Green is an overhanded curve, and he missed it. Swinging, strike one. Nolan at the stretch. The pitch. Green takes a curve in the dirt. Bench takes it again on the first hop. Sal Bando of the A's opened the inning with a line single to center. Angel Manuel hit a ball to the wall in left field. Gene Tennis hit one to the deepest part of the outfield straightaway center, and Tolan made the catch on the warning track. Now here's Dick Green, who's had 4 hits in this World Series. 1-1, the pitch. Drives right center field. Tolan's got to go some to get this one. He won't. It's going to hit the wall on one hop. Here's Bando rounding third. He's coming home. The throw to the plate will not be made. The A's have tied the ball game. Boy, if you could ever see a roof caving in, it was right here in this inning. The A's have strung together 4 blasts in a row off Gary Nolan. You know, Jim Simpson, for a guy who hasn't batted very much this year, Dick Green has hit the ball well in this series.
That's right, Monte, and I'm noticing Vida Blue is coming up, and Locker's taking a seat now that Blue is back in the ball game 1-1. I think Dick Williams likes his chances better with Vida Blue. We're not going to see too much more of Gary Nolan, however. Here comes Sparky.
And the Cincinnati pitchers say that when Sparky comes out there, he's not coming out for a conversation. He does all his talking on the bus and in the clubhouse. When he goes to the mound, he's going out to take him out. So Sparky Anderson has a hook in his hand. He's going to put it in Gary Nolan. Gary here in this inning, after pitching 4 very strong innings for Cincinnati, just got the ball up. And I don't know, you might say, Jim, he's a little fortunate to be in a tie ball game the way they've hit the ball right here. They're going to bring in Ross Grimsley, a starting pitcher. In one of the games of this series, he's a left-hander. Bourbon is still in the bullpen. And Sparky, I would imagine, hated to have to take Nolan out of here right now and bring in one of these men, because the pitcher's spot comes up 4th in the next inning if they get that far. And he may have the use of this pitcher for a very short time. Gary gets a fine round of applause. Cincinnati fans can't forget the 15 games he has won here this year. He's done an outstanding job.
Taking Gary Nolan out, 4 2/3 innings. He has given up 1 run. He could be charged, of course, should Green score from second base. There have been 3 base hits, 2 of those in this inning. But then again, Manuel sent Pete Rose to the wall, and Gene Tennis took Tolan all the way to the warning track in deep center field, 400 feet away, before Green lined that shot off the right center field wall to make it 1-1. But Nolan could lose the ball game should Green score, but right now he's charged with the 1 run. Grimsley is coming on, and Grimsley, of course, was a starter and a winner in this World Series. But then the other night in that very bizarre and great ball game in which the A's came back in the last of the 9th inning, he was a loser. He has worked 5 2/3 innings overall. Earned run average 3.46, but one of the real fine young pitchers, and his fastball is just that much behind Don Gullett, who owns the best fastball of the Cincinnati Red staff. Grimsley, who worked yesterday, will work again today, and he'll be pitching to Vida Blue, and that man is still throwing down in the bullpen for Cincinnati as he has been for the last 15 or 20 minutes. Pedro Bourbon.
throwing down in the bullpen for Cincinnati as he has been for the last 15 or 20 minutes. Pedro Bourbon. Green at second, 2 out in a 1-1 ball game in the top of the 5th, and Blue will switch around and bat right-handed against Ross Grimsley.
Something he doesn't do too much, Jim. A little unusual, as a matter of fact. He's going to bat right-handed here. Grimsley off the stretch to pitch to Vida. Little high, ball 1. If the A's bullpen were completely fresh, Vida might not be batting right here. But the ace of the bullpen, Raleigh Fingers, went some 4 innings yesterday. Here's the pitch. Strike called, it's 1-1, and Grimsley popped that one in there with plenty on it. Cincinnati got their run on one mighty swing of the bat by great catcher Johnny Bench. The A's with a single and a double. Here's the pitch to Blue. Outside, ball 2. Green bluffed a dash off second base and might have disconcerted Grimsley just enough that time to get him to throw that ball out of the strike zone. Reds outfielders are playing shallow. Green might have a hard time scoring on a hit. There's a strike call. It's 2-2. That might be academic the way Grimsley's throwing now anyway. Vida bunts a lot of times with 2 strikes on him, batting left-handed. Menke is playing him fairly shallow at third right now. 2-2 count. Grimsley comes to the plate. Ball 3. And now he has a big pitch to make. If he loses Blue, he'll have to pitch to Campaneris. What a World Series for pitchers and defenders. The old-time baseball purists love them like this. 3-2 pitch on the way. He walked him. Ross Grimsley comes into the game to pitch to Vida Blue. And walked him. And now Campaneris comes up with a runner at second, a runner at first. And I would imagine the reason they chose Grimsley then over the right-hander Bourbon is the fact that Vida Blue ordinarily bats left-handed.
Well, he never swung the bat right-handed. He took a total of 6 pitches and worked his way on.
That could be a big walk. The first one issued to an A's player today. Now Bert Campaneris comes on. He's grounded out of the infield twice. Grimsley sets. Here's the pitch. Campy takes outside a ball. 1-0. And the natives here in Cincinnati get a little restless. Dick Green leading off second base. Just a little patch of dirt around the bases here. All the rest is green carpet. The pitch to Campaneris swung on and popped up. They're going to get out of it. Joe Morgan, the second baseman of Cincinnati, coming in behind the pitcher's mound. He's got it. And Campaneris has left a lot of men on base in this World Series in scoring position. Does it again as Grimsley gets him to pop up. We're at the halfway point of the game, and we're right where we started as far as deciding it. It's Cincinnati and Oakland 1-1.
I'm sure you've all heard of the Plymouth Duster. It's a great little car. Economical, seats 5 comfortably. But maybe you haven't heard of the Space Duster. That's what Chrysler Plymouth is calling their Duster when you order the new fold-down rear seat. Good feature. Gives you all sorts of room in the back. 6.5 feet, in fact. Practically transforms the car into a miniature moving van. And it's fully carpeted back there, too. There's something else I think you like, the optional sliding metal sunroof. Chrysler Plymouth believes that since the 73 Duster is smart-looking and offers features like these, it could very well be America's best small car for the money. And I think they're right.
Plymouth Duster. Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference.
Pause 30 seconds for station identification.
The thoroughbreds, the trotters, Aqueduct, Roosevelt. That's racing. And OTB's got it all. With 2 daily doubles, 7 exactas, and a superfecta every day. New York City's off-track betting corporation. We've got it all.
WNBC, AM and FM, New York.
We have another thriller working, and for the last half of the game, here is NBC's Jim Simpson.
Thanks, Monte. Hal McRae leads it off. He's 0 for 1. Vida Blue still in then working and throws a fastball. It's lined to deep center field. Back goes Manuel. Looks up, and it is off the wall. Down to second base goes McRae. Ball was high off the wall. I doubt that Manuel could have gone back to the wall and leaped and have reached that high. So instead he stopped dead in front of it at the warning track and let it bounce back to him. But it is a leadoff double to McRae. And here is Menke, who the last time up in the second inning hit the ball very hard, and Rudy made a fine running catch on him. 1-1 the score. Vida Blue has now got that Oakland bullpen working again as Bob Locker dashes down to begin warming up, and along with him goes Dave Hamilton, the left-hander. Last of the fifth inning. Menke takes high from Blue. And now Bando races over to Vida Blue. Blue's wildness in the third and fourth innings has been low. He started off getting the ball up high, but got the pitches down that time. To McRae, he got a pitch up high, and he lined it for a double, and his first pitch to Menke is very high. The pitch, strike. Tom Hall, the left-hander who came over from Minnesota in the Wayne Granger trade, has gone to the bullpen for Cincinnati, so both bullpens are busy. McRae is down at second base. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike to Menke. Blue from the stretch. Throws a change, and that is up high. 2-1. Menke stares down to Alex Grammas, the coach at third base. George Sugar is over at first base, motioning to his base runner, McRae, at second. Green was coming in close by the bag. 2 balls, 1 strike. The pitch, and he fastball, and it's fouled away off to the right. 2-2. Johnny Bench planted a Vida Blue 3-1 pitch into the left field mezzanine in the fourth for the first run of the ball game, and in the fifth, Oakland tied it. Bando single and Green's double to drive him in. And we are in the 6th consecutive close ball game of this World Series. Ground ball right past the glove of Blue, up with the Campaneris, throwing from deep shortstop, and he's got him on a great play as McRae goes to third. Campaneris in short center field as the ball touched the glove of Blue, and that prevents McRae from scoring. And that is the second fine play by Campaneris, throwing a man out, and he also made a great running catch back in the first. But that's enough to bring Dick Williams out of the dugout. Talk about the fastest hook, Monte. We're going to see a lot of pitchers here today, it looks like.
Yes, the A's have even 2 of their starters out in the bullpen, as does Cincinnati. Of course, there's nothing to save them for. It's a long, cold winter after this one. The A's in the bullpen today will have starters Jim Hunter and left-hander Ken Holtzman. They have Hamilton, a left-hander, out there, and Harlan Fingers is there for no more than about 1 man.
It is not necessarily true that Williams came out there, Dick Williams came out to talk to Vida Blue about his pitching, but rather he might have been out there to talk about what are they going to do. With McRae at third base and 1 out, should there be a bunt to the right side? Should there be a bunt to the left side? What is the play? The infield has come in. Bando waved to his infielders. 1-1, the go-ahead run. McRae at third base with 1 out. Concepcion was set up with a curve in the third inning and then struck out, swinging at a fastball. Gets 1 in under the hands inside, ball 1, the fastball from Vida Blue. This is where Blue desperately wants to strike out Concepcion again. Remove Grimsley from the mound and bring up a pinch hitter. Grimsley's out on deck. Blue's back with a ball that's just at the knees, and that's a strike. Says Bill Haller, and Concepcion steps out. 1 ball, 1 strike. All continues in the Cincinnati bullpen. Hamilton and Locker in the Oakland bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1-1 the score. Haller briefly calls time. Now Concepcion is ready. Left-hander Vida Blue comes back and takes something off, and a pitch out looks like. They expected perhaps McRae on his way home from third base. Dennis stepped outside as Blue was delivering the ball and took the high and away pitch. They wasted one to see what McRae was going to do. The Reds have that reputation, aggressive on the base paths. Blue looks over at McRae, who's standing there hands on hips at third base. Blue ready, fastball, center field. Manguel there. This should score McRae. Manguel very deep center field. Here comes McRae. Here comes a throw. Offline. It's 2-1 Cincinnati. Credit McRae for the double, and they'll credit Concepcion for their sacrifice fly to deep center field, but don't take away what Menke did by advancing the man from second to third. Grimsley will now bat for himself and takes a call strike. Menke did the job. Matter of fact, Menke almost drove in McRae himself, had it not been for the fine play of Campaneris in back of second base. 2-1, the Reds again have the lead. Blue right back, and Grimsley fouls it off to the left. 2 strikes. And we're right back in a 1-run difference ball game again for the 6th consecutive tie. The Reds lead at 2-1. Grimsley allowed to bat for himself with none on and 2 out. Takes a high pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In the 6th inning, Grimsley will be facing the left-hander Alou, right-hander Rudy, and the left-hander Epstein. Change-up, and Grimsley strikes out swinging. But 1 run scores on the 1 base hit. There were no errors and none left. At the end of 5, the Reds lead the A's 2-1.
Delta does.
Which airline do you plan to fly on your next trip?
Would you like to take a guess?
Delta is ready when you are.
Monte Moore with Jim Simpson at Riverfront Stadium, where the fans here are seeing some great pitching and today, pretty good hitting. The ball has been hit hard so far. Cincinnati has only 3 hits. The A's have only 3. But they have really hit that ball hard. The outfielders have been on the move this afternoon. The score is Cincinnati 2-1. A big play. Vida Blue, a power pitching strikeout type pitcher, needed a strikeout of a man that he had struck out once before, Dave Concepcion. But he didn't get that strikeout. Concepcion fought him off in a 1-strike pitch and hit the ball into center field. A very, very stout-hearted performance by the shortstop at the plate against the hard-throwing Vida Blue. And now the Reds find themselves in front again, 2-1. Here's Jim.
The A's and their fans may wonder what has happened to Matty Alou. Matty Alou has been well over 300 in his career since he won that batting title with the Pirates. Here he has come on to the World Series against a team that he faced many times this summer because he was with the Cardinals. And he has won for 19. In this ball game, he's grounded weakly to second base and lifted a short fly ball to right field. 0 for 2 in the 6th inning and takes a strike from Grimsley. Alou is now 0 for 11 since his only hit in this series. That came in the 2nd game against Hall, who was warming up moments ago. Grimsley takes something off this pitch, and Alou fouls it back. 2 strikes. We're in the Oakland 6th. It's 2-1. If this lead stands up, we come back, and you can really haul out the old cliche tomorrow. There'll be no tomorrow if we go to tomorrow. 2 strikes. Play Alou straight away and rather shallow, and he lines this one toward Joe Morgan, who's playing very deep, and loops down to him, and it's soft line drive, and Alou is out. Joe Rudy flied to right field and hit a very high pitch to left field in the 4th, just narrowly missing getting onto the bat on the ball. Skied it very high. 0 for 2, 5 for 20 in the series. He hit a home run here to win the 2nd game last Sunday. And then in the bottom of the 9th inning, robbed Dennis Menke of an extra base hit, and the Reds have a chance to tie or win that ball game. Grimsley, the left-hander, throws low and away. It's ball 1. to Rudy. Rudy, a regular season 300 hitter. They play Joe swung around to the right as he hits many balls to the right, has great power to right center. But his home run here was pulled, and there's one pulled to left center field for a base hit on 2 hops to Pete Rose. And Rudy, the potential tying run, is on base. That's the 4th A's hit, the first off Grimsley. And here is Mike Epstein, who was 0 for 14 and has struck out twice swinging. That was against the right-hander Nolan. Now he's got to face the left-hander.
Jim, there's a scouting report single. Pete Rose is really cheating. We mentioned a little while ago he plays Rudy about 90 feet over towards center. With a normal defense for a right-handed batter, that's an easy double.
Good point, Monte. Epstein, the left-hander, steps in. Leading off at first is Rudy. The pitch swung on, grounded toward first base. Perez with it, grabs it with his bare hand and goes over and sliding around the throw, but not quite. As he puts it on him, Perez made a delicate play out of something there. He grabbed it with a bare hand, scooted toward the line, never did touch the bag, but did touch Epstein as he slid around him toward first base. Rudy goes into second. Epstein is retired by Perez. Now here's Sal Bando, who is 2 for 2 today. If he gets his third base hit here, we've got a tie ball game again, apparently. Bando led the A's with game-winning RBIs all through the regular season. He has had no RBIs in this World Series. He scored the only run back in the 5th inning, scoring ahead of Green's double. Sal is 2 for 2, both singles to left center. Grimsley works to Bando outside. Ball 1. 2 out, 2-1 the score. Cincinnati, top of the 6th. Rudy down at second base. Bourbon is up and throwing again. Hall has taken a seat in the Cincinnati bullpen. Grimsley throws again outside. Grimsley, most of his missed pitches have been away from the right-handers, keeping the ball to the outside corner, and that's where he's missed. 2-0 as Manuel steps out on deck. Grimsley's throw, low and away, and it is 3-0. And now Menke charges into Grimsley. Dennis may have gotten a sign from Sparky Anderson, who is now up and walking back and forth and looking down to the bullpen. Now Anderson is coming out. He may have gotten the signal, and that may be all on a 3-0 count to Grimsley. Grimsley just stands there and stares back, foot still on the rubber. Here comes Bench out.
Jim, he did this. He made a change 3-0 the other day with Mike Epstein at the plate. 3-0 count. He brought in Clay Carroll at that time, and Carroll threw a fastball called strike, and then Epstein went for the 3-1 pitch and grounded out. This is the type of thing right here. Sparky might be saying, look, don't give the guy one he can hit out of the ballpark if he's going to leave him in here. He's not.
Well, he's going for the sinker ball man, Pedro Bourbon, who has been around a few times before. This is the 6th World Series game, and for Bourbon, this will be his 5th.
Jim, you wonder how many times Johnny Bench really influences what Sparky Anderson does in a case like that. They say Bench is probably about as smart a catcher as been around in a long time, and I would imagine that Sparky, knowing how well Bench knows his pitchers, might get a lot of valuable information out of him. Managers definitely go to the catchers a lot.
Well, they also tell me, Monte, that once you see Bench behind that plate and he should glance toward the dugout, that's it to Sparky Anderson. He immediately goes because his catcher, only 24 years old, but a man that's already been the most valuable player at age 22, a man who again this year has led the major leagues in home runs and in RBIs, has hit a home run here today for one of the 2 Reds' runs. Sparky rarely takes the advice of Johnny Bench. He's got everything. Shotgun arm, he knows how to block, he knows how to call a game, and he can hit the ball out of sight. Bourbon is in warming up. Now, Grimsley worked 1 inning. Gave up 1 base hit. That's it. He did walk 1 man, and that was Vida Blue. Bourbon coming on has an earned run average of 1.76, attained in 5 1/3 innings of play. He has given up just 1 run. He has walked a couple. He has struck out 4, and he's been very effective. When Pedro is in there, he hits that ball into the batters hit that ball into the ground.
He has a real good sinker, not only a sinker, but it breaks down and in to a right-handed batter. The Reds are trying to make World Series history. No team in World Series history has ever lost the first 2 games at home and gone on to win a World Series. However, there have been 5 teams in history who have been down 3-1 as the Reds were going into yesterday's game to come back and win it. The last team, the Detroit Tigers, in 1968.
Sal Bando with a count of 3-0. He is 2 for 2 on the day and has scored the only A's run. Steps in. Bourbon working to him on this 3-0 count with 2 out, and Joe Rudy down at second base, and he gets the call strike, and Bando is taking all the way. Now Bando will look for his pitch. Swinging, pops it up. Playable, Johnny Bench goes aside the mask, pats his glove, and has it. And Bourbon on 2 pitches gets him out of it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and Joe Rudy left at second base. We go to the last of the 6. Cincinnati 2, Oakland 1.
Hello, I'm Johnny Bench for Anco Windshield Wipers, and I want to talk to service station men who display the bright yellow Anco Windshield Wiper service cabinet. You can make the wiper business good business simply by asking one little question of every driver. Do your wipers streak your windshield? No high pressure, no hard sell. If the answer is yes, suggest replacing the streakers with fresh Anco wipers and tell them you can do it in seconds. That's all there is to do. It's as easy as taking a base on balls. That's Anco Wipers by Anderson.
Nothing can crack the turtle's back. Hey, nothing can crack the turtle's back.
Come detergent, grease, salt, weather, Turtle Wax comes through because nothing comes through the Turtle's hard shell finish. Shine your car to blinding brilliance in 25 minutes with Turtle Wax.
Turtle Wax gives a hard shell finish. Turtle Wax crack the turtle's back.
Turtle Wax in liquid or paste. Anything else is mock turtle.
The scoring in this game has been thus. The Reds hit the scoreboard first with a line drive homer by Johnny Bench with 2 down in the 4th inning. Oakland tied it in the 5th on a single by Bando, a double by Dick Green. The Reds got the go-ahead run on a leadoff double by McRae and a sacrifice fly ball by Dave Concepcion. We go to the last half of the 6th inning. Vita Blue still on for Oakland. Once again, Jim Simpson.
Pete Rose is 0 for 1 plus a walk. Campaneris made a great play in the 1st inning. Rose walked in the 3rd and was thrown out trying to steal. Vita Blue still in there. Throws and he hits the change. Pops it up toward short right field. Back goes Green and has it for 1 out. Morgan doubled in the 2nd, reached third on the throwing error by center fielder Manuel, but was left stranded there as Campaneris and Rudy turned in outstanding defensive plays. In the 4th inning, Joe fouled out to catcher Gene Tennis. Reds win it today. Need we remind you, it'll be a 7-game series. A's come back. It's all over today. Vita Blue left-handed left-hander, and he fires a strike. Joe Morgan was now 1 for 18 in the series, but he has scored 3 runs. Blue right back, and there's a ground ball to the right side. Over quickly comes Green, underhand Epstein, and has Morgan by 4 or 5 steps. Looked like it was trouble. Epstein showed a little indecision there whether he should go for it or go for the bag. Well, here's Bobby Tolan. Campaneris made the good running play on him in the 1st with Morgan at 3rd base, and he struck out looking in the 4th and turned around to umpire Bill Haller and said, where was that? Tolan is the RBI leader in the series with 4, and he led the Reds in the playoffs with 4 RBIs. Blue pitches, ground ball up the middle, may get through. Campaneris waves at it, it goes on through to center field. Manuel is there. Tolan takes a big turn, goes back to first, and with Tolan at first, here's Johnny Bench, who's hit the ball hard twice today, once for a home run. The A's bullpen, Locker and Hamilton go to work again. Bench pulled a Vita Blue fastball. A vicious drive down the left field line in the 1st inning. Joe Rudy made a fine running catch. In the 4th inning with a 3-2, Blue just made it too good, and Bench lined it into the mezzanine in left field. Time has been called. Campaneris has come in. I don't think there's any strategy here. It's just that Locker and Hamilton have just now started to throw. Two outs, Tolan at first base. Red 6, they lead it by a run. They want more. Blue now ready, set, throws, high and away, ball one to bench. They say when Tolan leads toward second base, he is not going. When he makes a motion to go back toward first, he may be running. We'll watch him. And he is checked over there. Blue forces him back with a throw to Epstein, who's holding it at the bag. Tolan plants the left foot inside the dirt, the right foot on the artificial turf. Now he's going to be checked back again. Well, such is the aggressiveness of this running Cincinnati ball club. And so close is the game, they can't afford to let these fellows get a jump on them. Tolan has stolen 3 bases in this series already in 4 attempts. Now he's leaning back, but he's not going, and the pitch is outside. It is 2-0. And Dick Williams is walking out now. That second pitch outside. Blue turns around and now sees that Williams is coming out. Fans don't like it. They anticipate a Bob Locker, a right-hander, coming on to face bench, and they don't want that to happen. And they're going for their man. Running in comes Bob Locker, Monte.
We call Bob Locker the super sinker baller. He's been around a long time. Bob did a great job for Oakland this year. He had some misfortunes over in Detroit in that ball game where he inherited a 2-run lead in the last half of the 10th inning, and the Tigers scored 3 to win the 4th game of the playoff series. But Bob is the kind of a pitcher that most batters are going to hit the ball on the ground. He is a little bit like Bourbon. He throws a hard sinker that goes down and in to a right-handed batter. He also throws a slider. A sinker ball pitcher has to have a little luck, really, because most batters do hit the ball. Locker doesn't strike out too many, just the same way as Bourbon. You have to hope that when he hits it at somebody, and particularly on a turf such as this. They say it's hard for a sinker baller to win on artificial turf because the ball does shoot through there so quickly. Some batters, however, will tell you that sinker baller is effective here because the ball does take true hops to the infielders and gets out there in a hurry. So Bob Locker in here, it's a pretty tough situation. Both managers are working here with changes in the middle of a count to a batter. Sparky Anderson and Dick Williams both have brought on a pitcher before a batter is out or retired.
There's something unusual, Monte. This is Locker's first appearance in the World Series. He has been up and down, throwing nearly as much on the sidelines as if he were in the game all through this series, but now he's in for the first time. Throughout the year, he was 6-1, had 10 saves, and an earned run average of 2.65.
Jim, he's strictly a reliever. He has been ever since he's been in baseball. He has been around for a lot of years with the White Sox and the A's and the Milwaukee Brewers. He has never started a ball game. Been in upwards of 1,000, but has never started one.
And in this World Series, Monte, it is now a certainty that through 6 games, no pitcher has finished this ball game who has started one. Everybody has been relieved. Well, the situation is Johnny Bench has a 2-0 count to him. Tolan is on at first base. Still a danger to go. Locker, a right-hander, has come on to face the right-handed Bench. Tolan is on his way. Fastball down low, and Tennis has it popped out of his hand. 4th stolen base and 5 tries for Bobby Tolan. And the count is 3-0, so now they put Bench on. 3-0, they don't want Bench to hit away. Remember what happened a couple of games ago with the count 3-2? They made as if to put Bench on, and he took the breaking pitch from Fingers for strike 3. Count is 3-0 now, but Johnny is standing in there, swinging the bat. And here comes Perez. Perez leads the World Series with number of hits. 8 for 20 thus far. He is 0 for 2 today. Scored a couple of times, has not driven in runs, but he's got a golden opportunity here, and this is a man that can hit the long ball. Locker throws. It's down low with the sinker ball. Ball 1. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Reds. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for the A's. We are in the Cincinnati 6th in Cincinnati. Locker ready, throws, ground ball, foul. Gramus has it go over his head in the coaching box, and it bounds down into the A's bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cesar Geronimo is warming up. Hal McRae, who as Monte described as a real slasher, he comes out swinging, describes himself as the offensive player of the Reds. And with a 2-1 lead, perhaps more, they're looking for defense probably in the next inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Perez ready. There goes the runners, and the ball is hit up the middle, and they were running on the play. Tolan will score 3-1, and on the way to third goes Bent. Charged to Vida Blue, but Bob Locker had Tolan steal on him, setting up the intentional walk to bench, and then Perez gets his first RBI with a line drive single up the middle. Here's McRae, who doubled and scored in the 5th. And it's strike 1. McRae led off the 5th with a double off the right center field wall. Runners at the corners, bench at third, Perez at first. Still 2 out. Now it's a 3-1 ball game. Walker ready, throws, bounded toward Campaneris. Campaneris scoops the green for the force at second. But the Reds get another run on 1 base hit. And the running game really paid off. Make that 2 base hits, no errors, and 2 men left. At the end of 6, the Reds lead the A's 3-1.
Should a gentleman offer more than an evening to a lady? More than candlelight and small talk, more than just a night. Should a gentleman offer a Tipperella to a lady? And what if he does? Well, baby, it's alright.
Tipperillo, regular, menthol, and aromatic.
If you like fantastic savings, go to W&J Sloan's 14 furniture clearance centers, your immediate delivery shops, Saturday and Monday for the sensational Veterans Day sale. Millions of dollars worth of furniture by Baker, Henderson, Heritage, Drexel, and other greats, plus bedding, rugs, all 20 to 60% off the original prices. See the ad in Sunday's New York Times for the furniture clearance center nearest you. Come save. There's no waiting. Everything is for immediate delivery at the Sloan Furniture Clearance Centers.
We pause 30 seconds for station identification.
If you like fantastic savings, go to W&J Sloan's 14 furniture clearance centers, your immediate delivery shops, Saturday and Monday for the sensational Veterans Day sale. Millions of dollars worth of furniture by Baker, Henderson, Heritage, Drexel, and other greats, plus bedding, rugs, all 20 to 60% off the original prices. See the ad in Sunday's New York Times for the furniture clearance center nearest you. Come save. There's no waiting. Everything is for immediate delivery at the Sloan Furniture Clearance Centers. WNBC, AM and FM, New York.
Now in the top half of inning number 7 with Cincinnati leading 3-1 on 5 hits. The A's have 4. Here's Jim Simpson.
All right, Monte. Cesar Geronimo, as expected, is now out in right field. McRae is out of the game. Manuel leads off and takes a strike. Manuel thrown out at first base because of the fact that he didn't tag the base. He had the throw beaten. That was in the 2nd, and then sent Rose very deep in the 5th inning. Foul to the screen. It's 2 strikes. Reds lead it by 2. It's the first time in the World Series they have led by as much as 2 runs. This is a team that was down 2-0, dropping their first 2 at home. Went out to Oakland, took 2 out of 3 there. They came back here trailing 3-2. They're trying to even it today. Line drive, base hit by Bangwell to right. Tolan turns it off with a fine backhanded play and holds Manuel on to a single, and that was a fine play by Tolan. Backhanded the ball, racing toward Geronimo. They were head up on each other. Backhanded it before it slipped through to the warning crack in the wall. Manuel had to hold on. Now the fans become apprehensive because here is Gene Tennis, one of the few men in World Series history that have hit 4 home runs in a series. Swing, fouled at the plate. Tennis hit his first two times up against Gary Nolan in the first game. Then on Thursday night, he hit a home run and had an important single in the 9th inning rally. And yesterday afternoon, he hit a 3-run home run. He has driven in 7 runs. Breaking pitch, and the curve floats over. 2 strikes to Tennis, who must have been guessing fastball. Leadoff batter Manuel on at first base. Bourbon, the right-hander, throws, and the breaking pitch misses outside, very close. Well, Bourbon threw him his good fastball on the first pitch, and twice now has thrown the breaking ball. Comes back with the fastball, grounded toward third base, foul ball. Menke backhands it again, and he takes everything. 1970 World Series, everybody was talking about the most valuable player that year. It was Brooks Robinson. Called him the vacuum cleaner over third base. Menke has not had the opportunities for the fantastic plays that Brooks Robinson turned in, but he sure has taken everything within range. And sometimes a little of those that are not in range. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tennis. Bourbon throws a fastball, fouled again at the plate. Reds lead it 3-1. We are in the Oakland 7th, in the bottom part of the batting order. Bourbon throws the breaking pitch outside, swing, foul, tipped. He's still alive. His bench couldn't hold on to it. Tennis really lunged at a breaking pitch outside the strike zone. Just got a little piece of his bat on it. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bourbon at the set, throws the breaking pitch again. It's popped up. Tolan, short center field. Has it. Tennis did see some of the sinking fastballs of Bourbon, but Tennis was most ineffective against the breaking pitch thrown by him. And now Green is scheduled to hit, but is not going to hit. Gonzalo Marquez, who made headlines in the playoffs and in the World Series, is coming out. Marquez, one of those who comes up to swing. He is 3 for 4 as a pinch hitter, hitting .750 in this World Series. And Dick Green making a move now. Benching Green, who doubled in the only run that the A's had. But of course, Marquez is the man who swings, and down in, what was it with Iowa, Monte, that he had such a great season before coming up to you?
Yes, he did. Year before last, he hit .380-something in the minor leagues and felt that he should be in the big leagues, and he did not get a big league contract, so he held out the entire season last year. This year he opened up with the Iowa Oaks, the A's AAA Farm Club, and had a very fine year and has been an outstanding pinch hitter. He had 7 hits and 15 at-bats as a pinch hitter during the last part of the season.
And he's 3 for 4 here in the World Series. Left-handed batter. Manuel still at first base. Fastball low and away to Marquez. Don Mincher has come out on deck and will bat for the pitcher Locker. Breaking pitch misses, and it's 2-0. Marquez not only 3 for 4 in the World Series, but 2 for 3 in the playoffs, 5 for 7 in postseason play. Monty was saying he held out all last year. He's got a good leg to stand on this year.
I'll say he has.
2-0, comes back with a fastball and has him swinging. 2 balls, 1 strike. Including those 7 for 15 during the season that Monty was talking about. As a pinch hitter, Marquez is 12 for 22. That's better than 500. 2-1 to him. Perez holding Manuel on at first. Fouled again at the plate. And again he saw the fastball. 2-2. Tom Hall is throwing, and now the Hawk, Clay Carroll has joined the Blade. Always names for players in the National and American Leagues, the Hawk and the Blade. Translated Clay Carroll and Tom Hall. Fastball misses. 3-2. 3-2 with one out. We will see whether or not Manuel will be off and running, or whether he won't. Bourbon, the right-hander, is ready. He's not running at first base. It's the breaking pitch. Bourbon goes to second base to Concepcion. Back to first. Too late. And the hesitation of Bourbon might have cost them the double play right there. Kept him alive. He had the ball. Thought about it for a minute. And then threw to second base. So the A's and Marquez is still alive. And that'll bring on Don Mincher. Mincher started out the year with the Texas Rangers. Wound up hitting .216, 6 home runs, 44 RBIs, and as we said back in the 1965 World Series, his first World Series at bat, hit a home run off Don Drysdale. Mincher the other night, in the ninth inning of that dramatic come-from-behind 3-2 win by the A's, had an important line drive single to right center field. The Reds lead it 3-1. Their bullpen is busy. Now out comes Sparky Anderson. We are really seeing some changes. The wheels have turned in every one of these games. And with the left-hander Mincher coming up, it might be that Tom Hall very quickly will be called in, because Sparky might be having bad dreams of a Mincher pulled line drive home run. And so Bourbon is leaving.
And as soon as he makes that change, Dick Williams will make a change. Dave Duncan was standing in the dugout with a batting helmet on. And I believe they'll call Don Mincher back and have Dave Duncan pinch hit for him. Duncan had a big pinch hit yesterday down the line in left field. Had he been a little faster, he might have had a double on the ball in that big ninth inning. Well, these men in the managerial chairs for this World Series going into the 6th and 7th games, if it goes that far tomorrow, and right now the Reds are certainly in the driver's seat, have said, I've got a 25-man roster and I've got to use them. So Tommy Hall, a hard-throwing little left-hander, is coming on, and sure enough, Don Mincher will go back, and Dave Duncan will take his place. The A's pinch-hitting success in this series has been incredible. They had 3 straight pinch hits in the game night before last in Oakland, a game they came from behind and won. Yesterday, they had another couple of pinch hits. Marquez and Duncan both went up as pinch hitters and got base hits.
Tom Hall is entering his 3rd World Series game. He has worked a total of 4 innings thus far, has not allowed a run. He has allowed 3 hits. He has walked 2, and he struck out 3. They call him the Blade, tall and thin. He'll face Dave Duncan, the big catcher who started out the year as the regular Oakland catcher, hit 19 home runs in the early going, and most of his RBIs, 59 in the early going, before Gene Tennis took over. He comes up with 2 out, Marquez on at first base, in the Oakland 7th, and the A's down by a score of 3-1.
Jim, I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion about whether Bourbon thought that was going to be the 3rd out with a throw to first base, or if he thought the runner had taken off from first on the 3-2 count, because he had an easy double play ball hit back to him by Marquez a minute ago, and as you mentioned, he had that hesitation. He looked right at first base right off the bat as if he thought, well, there are 2 down and this will make the 3rd.
Well, let's see if it makes a real difference or not. Of course, he would have been out of the inning with the pitcher leading off in the 8th inning. As it is, he must now face Dave Duncan pinch hitting for the pitcher. Locker worked a 3rd of an inning, gave up a walk and a base hit. No runs. All right, Tom Hall is ready. Cloudy Cincinnati. Rain showers expected. Hall throws, and it's up high to Duncan, ball 1. If there is a 7th game tomorrow, and right now you'd have to say it looks like it, wouldn't you? But 2 runs is not that much, although it's been plenty. Would have won any other game in this series. Rain showers are expected tomorrow. A 60% chance. 1 ball, no strikes. Duncan tries to check his swing on a breaking pitch and cannot. It's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Duncan had a sharp single down the left field line yesterday's game as a pinch hitter. Big, tall, and strong. Crowd very tense here, waiting for the Reds to get out of it if they can. Hall is ready and throws, and this one is up high, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike. The crowd in Cincinnati becomes so quiet. When the A's are in any kind of threat, Monte, it's almost as though you're doing a golf match and you're close to a man about to take a putt. You don't want to talk too loud for fear of disturbing them. But there are more than 50,000 here looking on. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and Duncan's out in front of it. And it's strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Oakland 7. Left side of the infield for the right-handed Duncan, way back. For a skin of the infield there, there'd be 10 to 15 feet in back of it. Already 2-2, and struck him out swinging. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and Marquez left standing at first base. We go to the last of the 7th, and the Reds continue to lead the A's 3-1.
My dear, I remember when traveling to Florida was an absolute delight. Oh, we were treated like royalty, believe me. At the airport, a skycap ran to the curb and checked in our luggage. As we strolled toward the ticket counter, a man in a red jacket directed us to the gate. And we never spent a minute waiting in line. Our jet was a wide-ride 747. Oh, my dear, the seats were the lap of luxury. And the food, well, my diet just went by the board. We had the most charming stewardess, too. I mean, truly professional. Oh, darling, the flight was all too short. And you know, our luggage actually beat us to the claims area. My trip to Florida was such a joy.
Was that a long time ago, Grandma?
Just last month, my dear, when Grandpa took me to Miami on Delta Airlines.
Enjoy Delta's total service on your next trip. Charge your Delta tickets on the American Express Money Card. You can even extend payment for your airfare on the American Express Money Card Sign and Fly plan. Delta is ready when you are.
In Cincinnati, where the Reds are leading 3-1, here's the line score. 3 runs, 5 hits, and no errors for the Reds. 1 run, 5 hits, and 1 error for Oakland. As we go to the last half of the 7th, here's Jim.
Ted Kubiak is down at second base now, and Dave Hamilton has come on to pitch. Left-hander. Been in 1 game thus far, worked 2/3 of an inning. And nobody reached base on him, nor did he strike out anybody. First man he will face is Menke in this 3-1 ball game. Menke is lined to center and grounded out 0 for 2 and takes a pitch inside, ball 1. I can give you a couple of predictions for tomorrow. If it goes to the 7th game, it'll be Jack Dillingham for the Reds and Blue Moon Odom for the A's, and it's supposed to rain tomorrow. Hamilton is back and gets the fastball on the outside corner. Strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. But this is still a close ball game. I think we get a little spoiled by the fact that every game has been so low scoring and so close. Here's the pitch, down low in the dirt. Tennis digs it out. It's 2-1. That when any team gets a lead of a run or two, you get the feeling that's it. The 2-1 pitch. Hamilton comes back with a very high inside fastball, and he's gone to 3-1 to Menke. Dick Williams does not want to use Raleigh fingers today. He's been just pitching so much. Tomorrow's the final day. Ball is popped straight up in the air. Tennis, he'll have to wait for it to come down. He's got a lot of room. Tosses away his mask and has it for the first out of the Cincinnati 7th. Concepcion, who hit a Vida Blue fastball to deep center field back in the 5th inning, drove in the go-ahead run. Al McRae from third base. Sacrifice fly. The only other time at bat he struck out. Also on a Vida Blue fastball. Hamilton throws, and it's a strike. On deck is Tom Hall. Left-hander into the windup and changes on a breaking pitch. It's down low. Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the Oakland 8th, it's the top of the batting order. But the top of the batting order hasn't done much in this World Series. Campaneris and Lou have been handcuffed. 1-1, and the pitch is again low. Again a breaking pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike to Dave Concepcion. Each team has 5 hits. A's committed an error that did not hurt. Reds lead at 3-1. Back with a fastball, ground ball, base hit, left field.
gives up the first base hit. And Tom Hall will be up there. And with a 2-run lead, I would imagine Tom Hall is up there to move Concepcion as good speed down to second base and let Pete Rose, who drove in the winning run yesterday, try to bring him home. Bando comes in at third base. Epstein holding at first and preparing to dash toward the plate if necessary. All left-handed batter. Hamilton stares for the sign. Rose waits on deck. Bando's all the way in now. Hall squares around as if to bunt. Misses. It's a strike. Concepcion wasn't too far off the bag. Strike one. Kubiak had cut behind him, hoping that he'd stray off and Tennis could throw him out on a pickoff play. Now Hamilton discusses things with Campaneris. Hamilton was so long in the windup that Bando had moved in so far he had to stop and look over, wondering when he was going to pitch. He was right on top of Hall. Ready again. The bullpen is busy again for the A's. Here's the pitch. It's missed again. The throw to second base as he's on the way, and he's safe. Honachik was calling safe as he was sliding because the throw was in front of the bag. Stolen base for Concepcion, and now Hall with 2 strikes can swing away. Joe Horan is the man, the right-hander down in the Oakland bullpen. Reds leading by 2, hoping to add an insurance run. Hall can swing away. Hamilton working from the stretch, takes something off the pitch, it's low and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hall looks down to Alex Grambus, the coach at third base. A chilly day in Cincinnati. Temperature in the 50s, supposed to be warmer but wetter tomorrow. The 1-2 pitch, and he took something off that, and Hall strikes out swinging. And here comes Pete Rose. Rose, who had a great day yesterday, hasn't had that good a day today. Campaneris turned out on a close play in the first inning. He walked but was thrown out stealing in the third and popped to the second baseman in the 6th. And they're going to put him on to get to the left-hander, Joe Morgan. Some days you can go along and watch a baseball game and there are no real visible moves made by a manager. In any World Series game this year, you can count and you need both hands. That's ball 3 to Rose. Hamilton still looks back at Concepcion, not trusting him, and throws ball 4. So Rose is at first. Concepcion at second, 2 out, and here's Morgan, 1 for 3 on the day. The Reds trying to come back and make history. They dropped their first 2 at home. They'd like to come back and win the series. Nobody has ever done that. Hamilton ready and throws a strike to Morgan on the outside punt. Bobby Tolan swinging about on deck. Hamilton throws down the left field line. It is in there. Concepcion will score. Rudy is over to pick it up. Here's the throw to third base, and going in and safe is Pete Rose. Is down to second on the throw goes Joe Morgan. The strategy backfires. It's 4-1 Cincinnati. And here comes Bobby Tolan with runners at second and third. Still 2 out. Continues to work. Should Tolan get on, I'm sure we will see him against Johnny Bench, who's coming out on deck. Tolan tries to bunt his way on and misses. Strike 1.
Dick Williams just yelled out of the dugout before that pitch to the first base side and reminded them that Tolan likes to bunt with 2 outs.
Bando is in ahead of the bag. Rose is uniform thoroughly dirty after the headlong slide. Leading down, and there's a big cut on a fastball from Hamilton at strike 2. With 1 out, Concepcion single to left. With all at bat, he stole second base. So they put Rose on, and then Morgan crossed them up with an opposite field line drive single to score 1. Morgan went down to second on the throw, ground ball foul at the plate. Still 2 strikes to Tolan. Tolan today has a stolen base. The Reds are running again, and they are winning. Hamilton ready. Tolan stands that bat held high. 2 strikes, fouled again off the fists and back to the screen. Four runs now on 7 hits and no errors for the Reds. 1 run, 5 hits, and 1 error for the A's. The way it looks now, the dramatic clincher tomorrow. Hamilton is ready. Off-speed pitch has Tolan ducking. That was a straight change. Nothing on the pitch at all, and Bobby was able simply to duck down under it. On ball, 2 strikes. Hamilton takes something off this, and it's a line drive. This should score 2 men. Into the corner goes Alou. Both men score, and we've got the biggest margin by far. Speed pitch, and Tolan with 2 strikes on him was able to lace it into right field. And for the 3rd game in a row, Tolan has driven in 2 runs. It's 6-1 Cincinnati. Here comes Dick Williams.
And Jimmy's going to have to make a change again. Dave Hamilton got ahead of 2 left-handed batters in a row and then let the ball get away from him. He got up a little bit, and a good hitting Morgan went the opposite way. Tolan twice in this series has been able to hit the ball to right field off left-hand pitching. And the speed of Cincinnati has really turned this thing around. They have been running almost at will throughout this entire series. And just an out or so at a second base, for instance, in this inning with Concepcion going, and the batter at the plate being a pitcher. It was an easy strikeout victim. If they get the runner at second base, and it was close, then the inning is gone. You got to look for Bobby Tolan to run here now. They're leading by 5 runs, but he might take off again. Joe Horland's a veteran. He's been around a long time. He has the unusual distinction of having been in 3 different kinds of World Series. As a kid, he was in the Pony League World Series as a pitcher for a Texas team around San Antonio, his home. Then, as a collegiate, a senior at Oklahoma State University, then Oklahoma A&M, he pitched in the National Collegiate Championship World Series in Omaha and was the winning pitcher in the winning game. And now here he is, of course, achieving a lifetime dream of pitching in a World Series, and he inherits a situation that I'm sure he didn't include in those dreams.
Hamilton worked just 2/3 of an inning. 3 runs, 3 hits, a strikeout, and a walk. Bobby Tolan with timeout as Horland warmed up. He's about to make his first World Series appearance here in the 1972 series. As Horland warmed up, Sparky Anderson, Ted Kluszewski, called Tolan off first base just to shake his hand. He walked to the dugout. It's 6-1. Bobby Tolan has made the Reds go in these last 3 games. 2 RBIs in each of them. And now, the Cincinnati pitching staff knows with this 5-run balls that tying a winning run can never come to the plate at the present ratio of a 5-run deficit. And that makes throwing the ball a little bit easier when you know you can throw for strikes and let them hit it. You got a big ball. His bench with 2 out and Tolan on at first base, and he's on his way. Nope, bluffed me and bluffed Tennis, the catcher. Took a big lead that time. And then comes back. Tolan stole a base in the 6th. He is 4 for 5 in stolen bases. Some kind of series. Now he's going for real, and it's a wild pitch. Down to second base he goes. Pitch was low and away, scooting by Tennis, and Tolan is down easy. Not a stolen base. It's a wild pitch. He had a great jump on Horland, but the signal we get from the press box to our left, wild pitch. Bench. Now has a count of 2-0. Johnny has hit a line drive, and they're going to put him on again for the second time in a row, and he's also home. They have now corrected what we heard initially and have given Tolan another stolen base, his fifth in the series. And there's ball for the bench, who lined out in the first, homered in the fourth, and since has been walked twice intentionally. And here comes Perez. Perez has driven in his first run in this series, back in the sixth inning. 6-1. All of this with 2 out. Horland throws, breaking pitch, gets away from Tennis, and the runners move up. It was in the dirt and bounded off of him. Wild pitch. That's the second time that Horland has gotten the ball low and away. This one bounced in front of the plate. The other one was under the glove of Tennis. And the runners move up.
Now, Jim, over in Detroit in that big game number 4 in late innings, the extra innings, Joe's curveball broke off for a wild pitch that really hurt.
Tolan bluffs coming home. A curveball misses outside. Ball 1. Oh, the Reds are really running now and trying to intimidate the A's. They've got a 5-run lead in this game, but there's tomorrow, and if they can get the A's off balance and shaky about their great base running, that's quite an edge to take into the deciding game. Another breaking pitch, and that's a swinging strike from Perez. 2 balls, 1 strike. An exciting game yesterday in which the A's in the top of the ninth and the bottom of the ninth took themselves right out of a possible win. And this today, with the Reds running wild on the bases, might set the stage for quite a ball game tomorrow. Another pitch, it's in the dirt, but nobody moves up. Tennis keeps it in front of him. Curveball, it again goes into the dirt. Tolan been breaking on that pitch, he would have scored easily. It's 3-1 to Perez. It's 6-1 to score in the last of the 7. The first 5 World Series games have been 1-run decisions. Horland stands, looks, throws, pitches outside, ball 4, bases loaded. For the first time today, Geronimo will come up. A defensive replacement. Geronimo is 2 for 15, and Dick Williams runs out. Nobody's in the bullpen. They'll save the folks down there for tomorrow, but Williams comes out. As he does, let's pause 30 seconds for station identification.
If you like fantastic savings, go to W&J Sloan's 14 Furniture Clearance Centers, your immediate delivery shops Monday for the sensational Veterans Day sale. Millions of dollars worth of furniture by Baker, Henriton, Heritage, Drexel, and other greats, plus bedding, rugs, all 20 to 60% off the original prices. See the ad in Sunday's New York Times for the Furniture Clearance Center nearest you. Come save. There's no waiting. Everything is for immediate delivery at the Sloan Furniture Clearance Centers. WNBC, AM and FM, New York.
Monte Moore with Jim Simpson in game number 6 of the World Series. The Reds in the driver's seat, 6-1.
Geronimo steps in. 3 runs in this inning. Ties the series high. Tennis' 3-run homer yesterday took care of that. But Geronimo's the 9th man to bat. That's ball 1 inside, and a throw back to third base. Tolan just is back in time, and now Tolan is claiming to Mel Steiner at third that Bando tried to muscle him off the bag so he could tag him out. But we've not been able to say in any inning of this 1972 World Series that this is the 9th man to bat in an inning. By far and away the biggest inning in terms of men going to bat. Bases are loaded, and this pitch is inside and low. And it's 2-0. Dick Williams just turns away in the dugout. Aldo Finley is looking away, the owner of the A's. Horn ready. Breaking pitch down the left field line. It will score runners. Here comes Colin in. Bench is on his way and is in. And it's 8-1. Perez stops at second. Geronimo. Opposite field base hit. Has been guilty of twice throwing the ball by the catcher, walking a man, giving up a base hit, and it's 8-1. And the 10th man up, Menke, who fouled out to start the inning, is up again and takes a breaking pitch down low. Perez is down at second, Geronimo on at first. And it looks now as though we are going to tomorrow. And the 7th of deciding game. Drive down the left field line, hooking foul and into the seats. Just in back of the A's bullpen where there's absolutely no activity at all. They'll save everybody for tomorrow. I would imagine, Monte, wherever they're listening around this country, around the world, they're making plans tomorrow to join us at 12:45 Eastern Time, because that's it.
And it's going to be just as it was in game number 5 of the American League Playoff Series. John Odom will be handed the ball and say, the season is yours.
And Jack Billingham, who did such a great job, will go for the Reds. Billingham was superb in the opener out in Oakland. And by the way, we'll remind you again, we could have some rain problems tomorrow. Rain showers are expected. 1 ball, 1 strike. Horn throws. Just misses as Menke checks his swing. Biggest inning of the 1972 World Series. 5 runs, 10 men go to bat. Breaking pitch. Campaneris has it, handcuff him, throws on to first base and gets the man, but 10 men go to bat. 5-run score on 4 base hits. No errors and 2 left. At the end of 7, it's 8-1 Cincinnati.
Hi, Johnny Bench, not catching, but pitching for Anco windshield wipers. Do you know who holds the Major League record for most strikeouts? Brace yourself. It is Mickey Mantle with 1,710. Of course, Mickey also hit 536 home runs, which makes up for those strikeouts. That's where batters differ from windshield wipers. Wipers should bat 1,000 every time. In bad weather, snow or rain, your life or your family's life may depend on them. If your wipers are streaking or blurring, they're striking out, and you had better bring on some new heavy hitters, like a new set of Anco windshield wiper blades, and you'll see the difference the first time they come up for action. Anco blades are made of pure rubber, and they're engineered especially for your car's windshield. You can get Anco blades or refills at most service stations everywhere. Just look for the bright yellow Anco service cabinet. It holds a complete lineup of Anco wipers for every car, the imports too. But be sure you're getting Anco windshield wipers, the big league blade by Anderson.
Well, they say hitting is a thing of momentum. When 1 or 2 men get started on a club that's in a slump, it can really turn everybody on, particularly in a home park with some 50,000 cheering. And that's exactly what happened here today. The Reds got their initial charge today from Johnny Bench, who had not hit the ball long in this entire series. And he jacked one up into the left field stands to give them an early lead. The A's, however, came back to tie the ball game and have not been able to score since off the fine relief pitching of Cincinnati. Grimsley, Bourbon, and now Hall. The A's, when they lost Darrell Knowles right before the playoffs started, knew they were going to have trouble in the bullpen, and they were hoping for complete games in a series out of such as Catfish Hunter and John Odom and Vida Blue as he started here today. Dick Williams was in strong hopes that Blue might be able to carry it on in. Vida was not pitching all that badly here today, but the A's were not scoring because Nolan, who was the most ineffective pitcher so far for Cincinnati, got out of it without being hurt too badly. It is now Cincinnati leading 8-1 as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Jim Simpson.
And the top of the batting order, Monte, Campaneris, who is 3 for 23 in the series, and he is 0 for his last 15 appearances. Tom Hall throws a strike to him. Menke in on the grass, knowing that Campaneris wants to get his way on. The big 7 runs they got to get. Hall knows he can throw strikes, but this one's in the dirt. Ball one strike. Nobody in the Reds bullpen, and Sparky hopes that he'll never have to put anybody down there. Save them for tomorrow. Hall can work leisurely now. Throws a pitch off speed, goes past Menke. There's Concepcion, and what a throw from shortstop. He got him. That showed us that Dave Concepcion has got quite an arm. Ball bounded past Menke. Concepcion was deep at shortstop, came up and gunned the throw. And Campaneris, remember, not slow. He's very fast. Here's Alou, who was 1 for 20 in the series. Has not hit the ball hard at all today. Been retired twice by Morgan at second. Lifted another ball to short right field. High and away with an off-speed breaking pitch by Hall. Ball 1. We are in the 8th. The Reds lead this 6th game 8-1. And it looks like we go to the clincher tomorrow. Hall back. Line drive on one hop. Concepcion by second. Fires and has the speedy Alou. 2 great throws by the shortstop of the Reds. That'll bring up Joe Rudy. Fly to right, left, and single to left. Well, this was a 1-0 ball game. Cincinnati in the 4th, tied in the 5th at 1. Reds went ahead in the 5th, 2-1. Edged ahead in the 6th, 3-1, and got 5 in the big 7th to make it 8-1. Rudy is 5 for 20 in the series. Hall throws, and here's another fly ball coming back toward us, Monte, and hit right in front of us. We've already gotten one today. That was nearly a second.
I don't go to my right too well out of these booths.
Grimsley wins today, which he can do to become the 4th reliever to win 2 games in one series and the 2nd to win consecutive games. Drive to right field. Bobby told it over very quickly, showing his speed, and Hall's in the line drive. No runs, hits or errors. We've gone through the middle of the 8th inning, and the Reds have the commanding 8-1 lead.
Hey, are you one of those guys who turns into a roughneck every morning? Does shaving leave your neck rough and irritated? If it does, let me tell you about a special kind of Gillette Foamy. Face Saver, specially made for you roughnecks. Face Saver has 25% more lubricants than any other foamy shave cream. For better protection against shaving irritation, even on the most sensitive part of your face, your neck. So if shaving irritates your neck, get Foamy Face Saver for the roughnecks.
Would you believe an antiperspirant could smell just like a crisp, clear fall day? Probably not, but there's a new one that comes pretty close. It's Right Guard Natural Scent Antiperspirant, and it smells fresh and clean because the scent's made from real natural ingredients. About as far from the heavy artificial smells of other antiperspirants as you can get. And it's Right Guard, so you know it'll help keep you dry all day. Right Guard Natural Scent. Not exactly the scent of an autumn day, but about as natural as an antiperspirant can get.
Well, Joe Harlan pitches here into the last half of inning number 8. The Cincinnati Reds finally showing their vaunted speed. They got some men on base, and with the great momentum they generated, got the big base hits. And they are well out in front of the Oakland A's, and it looks as if we're going to have a big game number 7 here tomorrow.
Concepcion, who is 1 for 2, drove in a run in the 5th with a sacrifice line drive to deep center, singled and scored in the 7th, and in the Oakland 8th, had 2 fine throws from shortstop. Takes a breaking pitch from Horton, strike 1. Concepcion will be followed by pitcher Tom Hall, who kneels on deck. Horton back and throws the big curve that's inside. Concepcion leans back away from it. Epstein, Bando, and Manguel scheduled in the A's 9th with a tough row to hoe. 7 runs. Horton throws another breaking pitch inside. 2 balls, 1 strike to Concepcion. Dillingham and Odom, tomorrow's starters. Both are right-handers. The 2-1 count. Fastball, and he swings and misses. Strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, this started out World Series. A's winning 2 here. Then out in Oakland. The visitors, the Reds, won 2 out of 3. And today, back home, Cincinnati's going to tie it at 3 games apiece. Drive left field. Back goes Rudy. near the wall. It bounced off the wall and past him, and Concepcion steams into second base. He's going to try for third. His Rudy hasn't gotten to the ball yet. Now comes up and doesn't make a throw. And in with the triple. Rudy went to the wall, and it simply bounced past him. I think you would have to say that this is not the day for the Oakland Athletics. The pitching has not been that effective. Their offense has generated but one run, and defensively they have had problems. Only one error shows, but they have missplit a couple of balls in the outfield. Here's Hall, and he's swinging away with Concepcion at third. The infield of the A's has been drawn in. Hall swinging, any kind of ground ball at all might get through. Oren throws, and this is a checked foul off and back of home plate. Well, last night, not many people got sleep because they had to fly in from the West Coast and got in very early this morning. Tonight, not many people will get sleep. They're going to be worried about tomorrow. Here's a two-strike count, foul tipped off the mask of tennis.
One thing that woke up the Reds' bats.
That's right. Two strikes. All just swinging that bat, now waits for the horn and pitch. It's a curveball lined to the first baseman, Epstein. One out. He pulled that ball, and Epstein had to make a fine leaping catch to rob him of a hit. Here's Pete Rose. Hitless today, but he scored a run and has been walked twice. Rose awakened the Reds yesterday. They were down 3-1, and he led off that ball game with a home run. And the Reds were in the ball game. Then he drove in the winning run in the 9th inning to make it 3-2. And here they are about to tie up the series. Breaking pitch, curveball, strike one to Rose. Another 7-game World Series. The strike one pitch. Another breaking pitch, catches the outside corner. 2 strikes to Pete Rose. One out, Concepcion still over at third base. Mando not quite sure what Rose will do is in on the artificial turf in front of the bag at third. He took the swing and struck out, and Concepcion dives back to third base expecting a throw, but there was none. Here is Morgan. He really got things going. Back in the 7th inning. They walked Rose to get to Morgan because he's a left-handed batter going against the left-handed pitcher Hamilton that time, but he lined an opposite field base hit that scored a couple of runs, and he went to second on the throw and later scored on the base hit by the pitcher. This is to the glove of Epstein. On his knees, throws to one and covering, and they are out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and Concepcion left crossing home plate, but the run, of course, does not count. Well, the A's have one more chance. We go to the top of the 9th. Cincinnati 8, Oakland 1.
Let me tell you about some products I sell very proudly. Chryslers and Plymouths. You know why I love them? They're constantly striving to make stronger cars, safer cars, better cars that run better than any they have ever built. They all have something in common, too. Engineering care. It goes into every Chrysler and every Plymouth. That new mid-size satellite Sebring Plus, for instance. That's some car. And they tell me the new Chrysler is the quietest Chrysler ever. And the new Plymouth Fury. Wow, there's a beautiful car. And part of the beauty of it is the way it fights rust and corrosion with all sorts of rust preventatives. See these new Chryslers and Plymouths at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer, won't you?
Chrysler Plymouth. Extra care in engineering. It makes a difference.
In Cincinnati, Monte Moore with Jim Simpson. And the score is 8-1. The Reds have 10 base hits. The A's have 5, and Mike Epstein has just made a fine defensive play. The end that last half inning comes on to try to get something going for the A's, who have a long road to hoe, as they say in the cotton fields.
Epstein has a long road to hoe. He is 0 for 15. He struck out twice swinging today and grounded out, and Hall, the left-hander, is facing Epstein, the left-hander. First pitch is outside, ball 1. Again tomorrow, Jack Billingham for the Reds, Blue Moon Odom for the A's, and then everybody else available. Tomorrow's the final game of the season, that's for sure. There goes the bat and the ball to the right side. The ball is fair, the bat is foul, and the ball is what counts, and so Epstein is out as Perez picks up the ball and steps on first base. Well, Mike goes back to think about tomorrow's 7th and final game of the series, realizing that he has not had a base hit in 16 official trips to the plate. And today he struck out twice and grounded to Perez twice. The Reds are 2 outs away from squaring the series. Here is Bando, who has 2 base hits, scored the only run, and is fouled out. Lifts the next one high, foul. Perez comes over, Bench comes over. Perez says he's got it and has it. There are 2 outs. The Reds are an out away from squaring the series at 3 games apiece after losing the first 2 here at home. Games like this, you remember what happened yesterday in the 9th when feeling judgment on the part of Raleigh Fingers allowed the Reds to stay in the ball game in the 9th and go ahead to score the go-ahead run. And then when Odom tried to score from third base in the last of the 9th with a tying run, he was thrown out on a ball, little pop fly just in back of first base. Those decisions, plus today's 8-1 ball game, will send us to the 7th game. Manguel, who is 1 for 3, takes a strike at the knees. Many of the Cincinnati fans are beginning to leave, figuring they'll come back tomorrow for the finale. There's a ball punched down the right field line, and it is a fair ball. Manguel is on the way around first and stops right there as Geronimo's over in the corner and up very quickly. And with 2 out and trailing 8-1 in the 9th, that is not the time to take a chance. So Manguel simply held up at first base with a base hit. It's a first base hit off Tom Hall. He had retired 6 men in a row. Here is Gene Tennis. 0 for 3 today. Drove Tolan very deep in the 5th inning with his best blast of the day. Tennis takes a pitch high from Tom Hall, ball 1. Every time this man steps up, you got to wonder whether or not he's going to set a World Series record hitting a 5th home run. Pitch is on the outside corner. Good fastball from Hall. Strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 12:45 Eastern Time tomorrow, the 7th and clinching game on NBC Radio. And there's a change that stays high. It's 2 balls, 1 strike to Gene Tennis. Tennis has 7 RBIs. Tolan in the last 3 games has picked up 6 for the Reds. Already popped up, foul, Bench comes back. It'll be too far back. John holds on to that mask as it falls, the ball does, into the seats. Well, the American and National League have alternated the World Series championship since 1965. And last year, it was the Pirates who won. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Manguel very short lead off first base, not being held there. Ground ball up the middle, trying to be flagged down by Concepcion. They can't. Manguel stops at second, and the A's are still alive as Tennis gets the base hit. Now Ted Kubiak will come up for the first time. Kubiak, a late inning replacement, has been in 3 ball games, but only at bat twice has an infield hit. Kubiak, a switch hitter, steps to the right side to face the left-handed Tom Hall. 8-1 the score. Cincinnati, we're in the 9th inning. Hall throws a strike right down the middle. What a good relief pitcher does when he's got this big a lead, he simply fires strikes. Dare him to hit it. Somebody will catch it someday. Back again with a swinging strike this time, and Kubiak is down 0-2. The new baseball. Manguel at second, Tennis at first. Tom Hall peers in, stares back at Manuel at second, now throws, and there's a ground ball to third base. Menke will step on third. Ball game is over. Reds have evened the series. Tomorrow afternoon at 12:45 Eastern Time, will begin the game that will decide who wins the 1972 World Series. The Reds, down 3-1, have evened it all in this inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. The final score in the 6th game of the World Series, Cincinnati 8, Oakland 1.
With me in the studio is Peter Barnes, one of the world's fastest talking announcers. He will attempt to tell you all the many features of Delta's total service in less than 1 minute. Ready, Pete?
Reservations confirmed in 3 seconds by Deltamatic computer. Instant printing of ticket by computer. Fares quoted are totally accurate. Tickets will be mailed to you if you wish. Curbside baggage check-in at airport. No extra charge for golf clubs or other sports equipment. Passenger service agents keep lines short at ticket counters. Comfortable waiting lounges. Covered jetways in most cities let you board your plane in any weather. A great fleet of 180 jets, including the wide-ride 747 and next the DC-10. Frequent flights to 99 cities in the Western Hemisphere. Superb meals on breakfast, lunch, and dinner flights. First-rate service every step of the way by the Delta professionals. Speedy baggage delivery when you land. Average time, 7 minutes. Delta Dream vacations at low package prices.
Sorry, Pete, time's up, and you've just begun to cover Delta's total service. Why, you didn't even mention that people can charge their Delta tickets on the American Express Money Card and extend payments for airfare with the American Express Money Card sign and fly plan. Well, friends, for more information and reservations, call Delta or your travel agent. Delta is ready when you are.
The Cincinnati Reds have delighted over 50,000 here at Riverfront Stadium as the World Series game number 6. 6 straight sellouts for this year's World Series, and you can bet on tomorrow being sellout number 7. The Reds today got a home run from Johnny Bench, his first home run of the season, but it ignited quite a charge, which was culminated in a 5-run 7th inning. They had 4 base hits, but there were a couple of walks and 2 stolen bases in the inning. And the Reds now have tied the series at 3 games apiece. There were some big outs early in this ball game when it was still a low-scoring game. Gary Nolan, who started and went 4 2/3 innings, got Gene Tennis in the 2nd inning with a runner at second base. And at that time, there was no score. Tennis had been a hot hitter for the Oakland A's. In the 5th inning, with the game tied at 1-1, and a runner at second base, Vida Blue batted for himself, and the pitcher who had just come in, Ross Grimsley, walked him. That gave the A's quite a shot, and Campy Campaneris, with a base hit, could have sent Oakland into the lead. Instead, Grimsley got him to pop up to second base. Then another big out was later on when Sal Bando, the A's trailing by 1 in the 6th inning, was retired by the Reds, and they went on from there to break it open. We'll continue with today's game highlights right after this.
This is Johnny Bench for Anco Windshield Wipers with a private word to all the service station men who display the bright yellow Anco Windshield Wiper service cabinet. Your customers will appreciate it when you give them the right pitch on streaking wiper blades, especially those with hidden wipers. Just ask them if their wipers are streaking, and if they say yes, tell them you can replace them with fresh new Anco wiper blades while you're filling their gas tank. Anco blades will help see them home safe.
One of the most important parts of every new car is made of paper, the owner's manual. This year, the owner's manuals for almost all the new cars are recommending a low-octane gasoline, like Gulftane. What they don't tell you is that Gulftane costs even less than Gulf Regular, and it has the performance additive package you'd expect from Gulf. Check your owner's manual and try a tank full of Gulftane, the low-cost gasoline for new cars.
Each year they pick an outstanding player of the World Series, and there's quite a race going on right now. If the A's win it, Gene Tennis probably will win that. And if the Reds win it, it looks now as if Bobby Tolan has moved into the driver's seat. He has had 7 hits in the series. He's knocked in 6 runs in the series, had 2 more big ones today, and Tolan has stolen 5 bases. Gene Tennis has had 7 hits in the series, has knocked in 7 runs, and has hit 4 home runs. Tomorrow, 2 sinker ballers. Jack Billingham of Cincinnati, who pitched a 3-hit shutout at the Oakland A's earlier in the series, and John Odom, who pitched against him that day, allowed only 3 hits in 7 innings and lost. We'll continue with highlights of today's game right after this message.
Give your hand to a friend, give your heart to your love, but if you go to contact, give your call to contact.
What sneezes a lot, has a runny nose, big red eyes, and is getting all stuffed up with congestion? Give up? It's you. You've got a cold coming on. But don't give up. Give your cold to Contact early. The 600 tiny time pills in each capsule can help relieve your sneezing, runny nose, your congestion up to 12 hours. And Contact is not limited to nighttime colds, so we can help you feel better today, rest better tonight, and feel better tomorrow. Take Contact early. That's early cold care. Give your cold to Contact.
Give your hand to a friend. Give your heart to your love. But give your cold to Contact.
Number one in the whole world.
Our producer here in Cincinnati has been Len Dillon of NBC New York. Dan Hozak of WMAQ Chicago has been our engineer. And our thanks to Monte Moore of the Oakland Athletics for working with us today. And, of course, it is all even, 12:45 Eastern Time tomorrow. We come back with the 7th, the clincher. This broadcast has been authorized under broadcast rights granted by the Commissioner of Baseball solely for the entertainment of our listening audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of the game without the express consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. Jim Simpson saying goodbye from Cincinnati. The 6th game has been brought to you by the Gillette Company, makers of the Gillette Track 2 two-bladed shaving system. Chrysler Corporation, extra care and engineering. Your host today, your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Delta, the airline run by professionals. Delta flies to 99 great places in the Western Hemisphere, and Delta is ready when you are. The Anderson Company, makers of Anco windshield wiper products for your better driving visibility. This has been an NBC Radio Network production.
Hey!